Welcome back to the Fear and Beer podcast,
where we discuss all things Halloween Horror Nights, horror movies, and just a little bit of beer.
So kill the lights, grab a cold one, and join us as we dive into this mad world we love.
I'm Nick.
I'm Seamus.
And I'm Jamie.
Like scary movies.
Uh-huh.
Here's Johnny.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
You miss me.
Aren't you drinking?
I never drink. Why?
And as a reminder to all listening, if you want to help us to continue growing as a podcast, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on whichever streaming platform you use.
To stay up to date with us and all of our episodes, be sure to follow all of our socials. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Fear and Beer Pod.
Feel free to reach out to us. We love to interact with you all.
Da-na-na, da-na-na. That's our draft song. It is our annual draft, which of course, fantasy style. We have a couple new contenders this year round, so I guess I'll just do a quick little intro for everybody. We will get to our draft picks, and we will go over the categories with everybody, because it is a little bit of a funky one. We try to switch up every year, keep it interesting. So without further ado, obviously the Fear and Beer crew is here. Nick, Jamie, Seamus, all here.
What's up, everybody?
Hello.
We have new guests of the program. First for 2 of them, second for another. So Pete, first time on the podcast. First time, long time, first time. Yeah. We have Alex, who's joining the podcast today.
Hey.
And we have Rob, who has been on an episode when we recapped HHN 30, I believe it was.
I believe you're right.
It was a little while ago. So new cast of characters, and this is going to be a fun one. So we have if you're watching on YouTube, we have our lucky little pumpkin picker. Numbers 1 through 6 are in here, so we will just go around and pick one number each. So there's no blaming anybody for.
You might as well just give me 6 now, because I always get the last in the draft.
I said that last year, and I got 6 last year.
Every year.
Oh boy.
Let's see.
And we are going to be doing a snake-style draft, so we will wrap
Are we
around.
revealing all at once, or?
It's a fair. Until everyone picks theirs, we will start announcing. We'll go around the table.
We'll reveal as we.
But yeah, the unlucky streak is pretty high.
The anticipation is
Is it
killing
better
me.
if you get the higher number or the lower number? I forget.
Well, it
kind of one in the middle.
So it's
almost.
snakes.
Middle,
The draft
last
snakes
one.
like a real draft. So if you get 1, you start, and then you don't pick again until 7.
Okay.
And then you pick again immediately at 8.
All right, so let's just go around the room. So Rob, what number did you draw?
Number 2, because I'm the shit.
All right.
That's a good number.
Alex, what do we have over there for you?
Number 5.
Okay.
I got number 1.
Of course she did. Damn it! This is rigged. Rigged.
Man. She's saying she has no luck.
All right.
Number 1.
Pete, which one did you get?
I got number 4.
All right.
And I don't even have to look. I'm sure it's
No,
number 6.
I don't want to hear it.
Oh, number 3.
Mother.
All right. All right. Number 3. I can live with number 3.
God damn
I
it!
called it.
So, let's go over the categories before we go in. So, we are going to be drafting a HHN event. So, 10 houses, 5 scare zones. We are ditching the show this year because why not? So, 10 houses. 2 of them have to be Disney properties. Now, that is anything really under the Disney umbrella. So, as of late, that includes Marvel, Fox, stuff like that. I did this in mind with like classic Disney stuff, but you can stretch because we're probably going to need to at some point. 2 HHN original sequels, so that is any HHN property, scare zone or house or show or whatever you want, getting a sequel treatment of sorts. 2 IPs that are 2010 or newer, so we're looking for that modern horror style stuff.
Yeah.
1 Goosebumps story, which will be translated to a funhouse, which maybe someday. We could all hope.
We could all hope, yeah.
Continuing the trend, seemingly, of HHN, we are going to draft 1 cryptid-style house. You're going to pick 1 streaming show, and then 1 icon house. Now, there's been a lot of debate amongst the community online recently. What is an icon? I would say that really anything that has been debated is really up for grabs. You know, we heard, I mean, it's a confirmation at this point. Mike Aiello has confirmed Oddfellow as an icon, stuff like that. You know, but I would throw, you know, Boris in there and stuff like that. So if you want to pick those legendary characters, that's all up for grabs as well. Now for the scare zones, we did these as decades. You can pick any IP. You could pick pop culture thing. You could really theme it any way you want, as long as it's seemingly themed on that decade. So we're going to start with the 50s and go 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s for your scare zones. So some of them will probably need some explanation. I know some of mine need explanation.
The scare zones were a little tough.
This was a little bit of a
Scare
trickier
zones
one.
are really
Tougher than I
hard.
thought it would be.
It was going to be easy.
Let me fly by the seat of my pants.
I have tricked myself again. So, without further ado,
Yeah, and you don't have to explain it either. Like, if you just want to name off
Say
what
what
you're
this
taking,
is.
So you were
that's
saying
fine too.
yeah,
like a movie from that decade. It could just be
Correct.
a movie
Anything.
from that decade.
it's very loosely
Okay.
like
Okay.
with that decade. So
Alright.
if it came out in the decade, even if it was themed in that decade, like if it was supposed to take place,
Okay.
whatever.
Perfect.
I think it's all fair game.
Cool.
We're not as strict on the rules here.
We don't.
I think
I've
I've conjured up quite a list. I'm pretty excited about this already.
I'm excited too.
I'm very curious where people are going to start their draft, because this isn't like round 1 is IPs, round 2
that's what I was going to
is
ask you.
free for all.
yeah.
If
Oh,
you want
yeah,
to
you can take whatever you
take
want,
your
whatever
scare
you
zone,
want
pick
to.
one. Feel free. If you want to take, if you think a Disney property is going to go quick,
That's the strategy.
grab it. So
Because
that's the
remember,
tough part.
the strategy is you gotta pick. You gotta pick things that people don't think about, but at the same time, those of them that are listening to us, they're the ones that are going to vote on this. So they will determine our ultimate fate.
I'm completely going to pander to the crowd this year. I do not
yes,
care.
100%.
I
I'm
might
done.
not even like my list at the end of the day, but if I get the most votes, that's all that
Oh,
counts.
I'm picking shit I hate,
No,
to be honest
I'm
with
sticking
you.
true to
So we're not going
myself.
to go in order. We're able to pick
Anything you want. So if you want to go if you want to throw in like a scare zone first, by all means.
Yep. So there is no rhyme or reason. So that really gets tricky. Where it's like, all right, what's going? It's almost like a fantasy draft where like, round 1 people tend to pick receivers and running backs, and then there's all of a sudden a run on quarterbacks in round 5 because everyone panics.
Because everyone's stupid.
That's something that'll happen where it's like, oh, the IPs are going. I got to get my IP before someone takes it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it gets
Stream
a little
quarterbacks,
tricky.
you will win every time. I
Okay.
promise.
So
just to just to confirm, we have Jamie at 1,
Yes.
Rob at 2,
Yep.
Alex at 3,
Nick
Nick
at
at
3.
Nick at 3,
Nick,
Alex
shocker, I
at
know.
4,
Pete is
Rob
four.
Pete before. Okay, I got this all wrong. Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. So Nick at 3,
Recalibrating. So so
Pete at 4, and Alex at 5.
so it gets a little
and
tricky
then I'm
with
bringing up
the
the rear like an asshole.
with the seating going out of order, but as long as you just remember your numbers, we'll remember the rounds and stuff like that. So I guess there's no way better than just to kind of get into it.
Dun, 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 dun.
So pick one. Jamie, surprise, surprise, is on the clock.
And there's no actual clock, everybody.
No,
don't
there
get,
is
don't
no
get
clock.
nervous. We don't actually time you.
Unless you're
Just don't
extensively
take
taking
forever.
Right. So I think the first category I'm going to pick is my IP category. So this was 2010 or newer.
I know
So
what she's picking.
Yep.
see, you would think you know what I'm picking. So this was previously part of a house at Horror Nights
maybe
before,
not.
but I
Never
want
mind.
it to be its own house in a whole. Nick's over there.
Nick's
You know
giving it
what?
away.
You know what? All right, I'm just gonna say it. So it's the 2012 film Sinister.
You might have heard
knew
me
it.
whisper.
No, I didn't.
knew
I
it.
didn't.
I whispered 3, and as soon as you said it's part of one,
It's probably on the list though, but yeah, Sinister is going to be my first pick
It
for
was
the
on my list
I
IPs.
until
knew
I
it.
took it off.
Wasn't on
to.
mine, so you're good.
All right,
I actually
so
watched that the other night.
Nice.
number 2.
So I'm number 2, and I'm going to follow the trend, and I'm going to do an IP as well.
Ooh,
And I'm going to do Terrifier.
All right. That was the pick I
Good
thought Jamie was
one.
going to take with number
Good
1.
one.
Oh, really?
I had that on
good
my
one.
list, but
That is
Art
a
the
good
Clown.
one.
But I feel like IPs are gonna go quick. We're gonna run
Yeah.
already.
It's
That's a
good
great
because
one.
now I play the game of like, all right, how long can I wait before like my IPs are like safe? So let's see, what would be a good first pick? All right, you know what? Again, this is like completely me pandering. It could be a cool house, and I think this category is just like a little limited. So I'm going to take my streaming show,
Oh,
Okay.
that's exactly how I was thinking.
Okay.
and I'm going to take Wednesday.
Oh,
I like
that's
that.
an
I think
interesting
that would.
pick.
I don't
That
know
was
if that
good.
was on
That's
anybody's
good.
radar,
Alrighty
but
then.
Not really.
I had a
No.
tough time finding like good streaming shows that I really wanted to pick, and I feel like that's a good headliner right there.
That
That
is
is
That is
one.
a good one. I
That is a
didn't
good
even
one.
think of that
So
one, but that's a
that'll-
big popular one
All
with
right,
people.
so I'm glad I snagged that one. I don't know if people would have
I
jumped
see.
to the streaming shows immediately, but I wanted to just secure that.
You just
so I
had to
don't
be
worry.
different.
I had to. So 4.
All right, I think I'm gonna follow the trend of IPs.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Figured.
I'm gonna go with a different one. I really enjoyed this movie. I'm gonna go with The Gallows.
Okay.
I haven't seen The Gallows in a long
Yeah, I just think
time.
real creepy.
That's a
going around
good
being trapped in
one.
that school, being chased. I just think that'd be a real cool house.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like that.
Right.
Okay.
IPs are flying. So now
Yeah, they almost have
Alex
to.
is up.
I think I'm gonna go with cryptid. My one cryptid.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick sirens.
Okay.
There you go.
I think it would be really
I like
cool
that
and
one.
creepy.
Be a fun house, very Dead Man-ish.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right up your
It's an
alley.
interesting
My
category,
house.
cryptids, because it's like, what do you qualify a cryptid as?
Yeah,
That's
it's
what we
a
were
very
talking about
loosely-
earlier.
Kind of a loose,
Very
it's a loose
loosely
It is
category.
loosely.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's
but-
like, I have a couple. I think I only have 2, so I'm really hoping they don't get taken, but they're pretty popular, or else I'm going to have to go searching, because
All right.
that's that. The list is only so long on my phone, so I'm hoping that I get mine.
I have cryptids listed on my phone
Yeah.
just in case.
Oh, yeah, I got the
take it.
Wikipedia page open. Like, this one sounds cool.
Alrighty, so that means I'm bringing the wrap around here.
So you get 2 picks now.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go this way because I didn't have a lot of options to think about for this one. I don't know where to go with it, so I'm going with my first Disney,
Okay.
Ooh.
and I'm taking this now because it's got to be on people's lists. It's not quite horror,
Oh, don't you do it, Seamus.
but it just lends itself to a house. So we're gonna roll with Nightmare Before Christmas. Because
Someone had to
I
pick
knew
it.
that
Someone
everybody
had
was
to
gonna
pick
have
it.
that.
So
So-
funny enough,
Someone had to
that
do
was
it.
not on my list at all.
It was on mine just for
Because I
shits and
immediately
gigs.
went to like non-horror that like
You could turn
You could
into
turn
horror.
into
yeah,
horror.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where my mind.
I hear you.
went
No,
to.
no, I hear you because
But
I've
it's a
got
great
another
pick. I
one
mean,
too.
I'm not that creative.
That's your headliner right there.
What's this?
So that means, all right. So now it's back to me again. For anybody that doesn't know, it's snakes like a regular draft. So I think I'm gonna probably have to go IP too, because if I wait, it's gonna be forever before it comes back to me. So I think with my IP, and we probably didn't clarify that what we can do is if everybody feels that what you picked doesn't really fit the category, you can argue it. So it's okay. So if I pick something, because I know I'm gonna pick something, everyone's like, that isn't what it's supposed to be.
I'm a master debater.
But-
So that's working.
Well, I mean,
But
this
no.
one's pretty undebatable. As long as it came out 2010 and after, I think it's in the clear.
Right, so the reason I say it, all right, so help me make my pick then. You guys, you can argue with me. So my pick is going to be my first IP, and I'm going with the 2017 version of It.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
nice,
yeah.
nice,
Yep, that
nice,
plays.
nice.
That plays.
All right, just want to make sure because I know it's technically an
I'm gonna
80s
take
movie,
it part
but
2.
No, I figured someone would have it on their on their list.
oh yeah, did we classify that too? Clarify that
We
too?
didn't really clarify
You
that.
can't. Let's ask the group.
We'll leave it up to the group.
No
Can-
sequels. No.
Can you take the same like a different movie in the same franchise?
No.
No,
No.
Unless they're very different. If not, then I feel like it's kind of tough.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
fair.
That's fine.
I think that's fair.
That's
There
fair.
you go.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
That works. All right, so
So that's back to Alex then.
Not to
Alright.
get all
I was gonna
hyped
say,
up.
like, speaking of, Jamie was like, "Oh, I have bad luck," and then she drew number 1. But when it's snakes, it might actually really.
I was just
No,
thinking
that's
about that. I was
right.
like, I have to wait a while
That's why I like reading it in the
now.
middle.
Waiting is tough.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go with my IP.
these IPs are flying.
They are. I have to. As above, so below.
Oh,
Oh, good
I
one.
had that on my list. Seamus likes that movie.
Yeah, I
too.
love that movie.
Love
Great
it.
movie.
Big
Yes.
fan.
That was a good one.
And we know that was on Jamie's list too.
That was
so.
it was.
So number 4. So Pete, I believe, right?
That is
Yeah.
Pete.
Is up
Yep.
now.
I think I'm gonna go with one of my Disney properties,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go with Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Okay.
That'd be
Could
cool.
He's really
Interesting.
trippy.
That could,
trippy,
yeah.
That whole world.
I like that.
Alright.
And maybe even, I know they've done it a few times, maybe into like that 3D style house, really just be that trippy style thing.
The cartoon to like reality stuff, that'd be cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I could really see like them doing a lot with like the motion animations on
Right.
the wall that go into something in the next scene and stuff like that as you're walking through. So, good pick.
That was a good
Yeah.
pick.
I really like that one.
Alright, so now it is Rob, I believe.
You were number 3.
It's Nick.
Oh, I'm
Aha.
Nick. Oh, it's me.
He just
Yeah,
wants to
give away
skip
my
his
pick.
turn.
Yeah, he's just trying to skip it.
Alright,
Yeah. He's like, I'm already out.
Okay, alright.
I give
Let's
up.
see. Oh boy. Where do I want to go? Okay, you know what? Let's pander to the crowd a little bit more.
You said your
Stay
whole
true to
draft's gonna be
yourself.
pandering, so I mean,
this whole list is anything I like, so hopefully people got some similar taste to what I have.
It's a strong strategy.
I want to do my HHN original sequel. I'm going to do one of them.
Okay.
And I'm going to do Puppet Theater Part 2.
Oh. Ooh,
I
okay.
want Puppet Theater.
I didn't
It's like half
think of
pandering,
that.
half
That's a good,
hate.
no, that's a good choice.
Because like I really want
No,
that.
it's a great
and I
choice,
think it's a
'cause
fairly decent crowd favorite.
Puppet Theater's a favorite, definitely.
I'm definitely avoiding the ones that have been being picked, so I'm going to be like really scraping the bottom of the barrel for like the Disney and the IPs later on. But that's where I'll go. I'll go with that one for now. I feel good about that pick for number 2.
Very good. Well, earlier you guys made me really nervous about the cryptid, so I'm going to jump into that one.
Shit.
And I'm going with the Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
Right.
In the style of Dead Man's Pier.
Okay.
Oh,
I like that.
cool. Yeah, I like that
I
idea.
it.
Yeah, the cryptids are tough.
There's a lot less than you realize, or you
Yes.
think.
Right.
Well, you look them up
Really
and it's
hard
like,
category.
wait, it's the same thing as this. It's just some weird long name.
Right,
list.
right,
I
exactly.
have no idea how to even say this one.
I was looking like Michigan calls it one thing, New Jersey calls it
Yeah.
another.
Exactly. All right, Uno, you're back.
Me?
Pick number 1. You get 2 now.
Yeah, you get
Okay,
back and
Back
back.
Back-to-back picks.
So I think I'm going to go follow Rob along the train for the cryptids. I am going to choose Mothman.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
All right,
Yep.
all right.
I'm down to 1 cryptid left.
Can you phone a friend?
Nice. He's at his phone like backspacing. He's like, shit.
Yep, racing that
Yeah,
one.
that was
couple
my
in there,
number
but-
1 too, actually, for that.
Okay.
Good pick, Jamie.
And then I'm going to choose my streaming show. I don't think
Oh.
anyone else might have had this on their list because I feel like not many others are as fond of it as I am. But I picked The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Ooh.
Okay.
I was not on my list, so
Yep.
you're right.
Yes. Because The Haunting of Hill House actually was really good.
It was
Beautiful.
excellent.
It was
The
a
house was
fantastic. It
amazing.
was.
And so I was wondering if anybody would follow that. And go with that. So good call.
I really like that season of it, if you consider that
See,
series.
it's funny because
Yeah.
like we've had this discussion before. I was
She's the only
not a fan of Bly Manor.
Not in it.
I
A lot of
tried,
people
I really
are.
did. And it's weird, but like for me, the biggest thing was that it was too dark. It was really hard to see what was going on.
It was a little.
Whereas
yeah.
at least the Hill House, there was more to it than just
Yeah.
Right. Understandably.
Completely agree.
Mhm.
All right, so now number...
back to Rob.
Back to
to Rob.
me.
Or, yeah, you did 2.
Yeah, she picked 2. She
Yep.
did Mothman
Ooh,
and Bly
okay,
Manor.
let's see. I am going to jump into my Disney properties because that makes me nervous as well. And I'm going to do the Tower of Terror.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a
I
really
did think
good
about
pick.
that too. I like that.
I was just thinking that throughout the tower, there's obviously different floors that do different things, so that would be a whole different new realm to explore for people.
That would be cool. I like that.
Well, on this recent cryptid run, I have to just jump in now, and I was glad because I was like, all right, well, Jamie picked it. It goes back to Rob. He already picked it, so mine's safe. So I'm gonna grab mine now before it is not safe, and I'm gonna take the Jersey Devil.
I knew it.
God damn it!
There was only one more on my list.
Son of a bitch! I
And it
knew
was the
I
Jersey
knew I was
Devil.
gonna. God damn it! I thought he was the one no one was gonna think of.
Oh,
but
I had 2. I had
I had him
Mothman
on my
and
list
Jersey
too,
Devil.
Seamus.
Yeah.
And I was
God
like,
damn it, man!
I was like, if this one goes, I'm screwed.
Fine,
Like,
it's fine, it's fine. I've got something else. I think. But
No
Pete,
biggie.
you're up until Pete
Yeah,
I'm
takes
gonna
it.
go.
Until Pete takes it.
I'm
actually
want
going-
to take it.
Who
but I had
hasn't
to.
done their cryptids? Just
I'm
Seamus and
actually
Pete?
going cryptid
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
I'm going cryptid right now, and I'm
Now you
going
get
with
the
the
pick and
Mongolian
put.
Deathworm.
Oh,
Okay.
All right,
Mongolian
okay, good.
Death
That was what I was
Worm.
thinking.
Those things come out, I think they could do a pretty cool thing. Like, how they had. Well, curious to see how this year goes with Yeti, but how the Yeti would come down at you. I wonder if they could do cool stuff coming below you with those things.
That would be
Ooh.
That's
interesting.
very good.
That one's good. Yeah, well, now you can just wait. You don't even have to
Yeah,
pick
now I don't
cryptids
have to pick
down
one,
until
this is
like
the
the
only
last
one.
round.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like,
He's in the
Yeah.
clear now.
So I did you a favor.
yeah.
I guess he did. Yeah.
You also have more time to look up some.
Yeah, sure, I can
Exactly.
look it up. So that means we're to Alex.
All right, I'm gonna go for my Disney properties. I'm gonna say Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh,
That's an interesting pick. Yeah.
Jack Sparrow.
Sparrow, nothing like them.
God, those movies. What a classic.
They can get real
The
dark.
Curse of the Black Pearl.
I feel like I got the wrong interpretation for the Disney category.
Why?
I feel
Literally
like I was
anything
only
Disney.
thinking of like Halloween like Disney movies.
Oh, see, I wasn't. I was thinking.
Oh,
I
I
wasn't
was.
either.
Like
Yeah.
I
Well,
said,
I mean,
I'm
I
not as
kind of
creative.
was, but not entirely like specifically Halloween.
Right.
Like there's a lot of dark parts of a
That
lot of their older
theme,
movies
yeah.
that you can come in the rides too. The rides work well too. Like Tower and Pirates, you can almost pull stuff from the rides more so than the
Those are good.
Maybe
Properties.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Amber Heard's Revenge.
I just watched that documentary.
It's already out.
New one.
Dang.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was a quick little one-day binge.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have to watch it because I literally just sat glued to the entire trial.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, and that was funny too. We had a friend of a friend who was on Depp's legal team representing him.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Sitting by him the whole time.
Shout out to Johnny Depp.
She would send us videos when she was on TV. She's like, "That's my friend in the background."
Carrying the case.
Yeah.
Stepping up for our boy.
Right.
Alrighty then, so it's me.
We are down
It's
to
back.
Seamus
It's
up
back
to
to
two.
me.
Debating.
Yeah, I'm debating whether I take my next IP or I wait.
Just do it.
So first,
Do
I'm gonna do my first original sequel because I know that mine aren't gonna last before they get back to me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna at least do one of them. So I'm going to take. Yeah, screw it. I'm gonna take Wicked Growth. For Wicked Growth too,
damn
because
it.
I
All right.
figured that was
Growth.
coming up at some point.
Okay.
Very nice. Actually, they didn't put that on mine because I thought everyone was going to do it. So I was like, let me go
Well,
get that ones.
the problem is that like all these categories are so good that every single one of them has a bunch of big heavy hitters. That
Yeah.
like you're like,
They could all be.
it's not like
headliners.
when we did the house one with the other podcasts where it was just houses, so you had to pick the big names as soon as possible because otherwise they weren't gonna last. But this is like a little different. But
if you're creative enough, you could spin whatever pick into a headliner house.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, really. All right, and I'm also going to take the first Goosebumps because I have a feeling that once these start getting on a roll, it's going to be hard to think of a good one.
I feel like mine's obscure.
So I'm going with Night of the Living Dummy.
Oh.
Okay.
So see, I have the shirt.
It's the one I thought Nick would pick, but
No,
I
so-
thought that's too obvious.
So as a house, it would run into literally the same problem as Chucky for me. I can't take a little doll like serious.
No, because it could be very similar to the Dead Silence house, which was a great house.
Yeah, I guess.
I think Dead Silence was maybe before my time because I've only. When was that house?
I wasn't here for that
I'm
one.
always
Which
talking
one?
how big of a
Dead
fan I am.
Silence?
I want to say it was 2006.
Say
Okay.
20,
Yeah.
Was that 26?
No,
No, 26. Oh, that'd be 16.
it wasn't.
16
It wasn't 16. No, it was.
2006 was HHN.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
So I've only been a Floridian for 8 years. So I only have 7 of those years at Hornites because the first year I moved mid-October.
It was Carnival of Carnage. Sorry to interrupt you, Rob.
No,
it was
no,
Carnival
you're
of
good.
Carnage. So, 15.
That was 17. What was so 2007?
Carnival of Carnage.
Very
2007.
So
Yes.
who is so now?
So
it
that's
is
back to Alex.
back to Alex now.
All right. I'm gonna do my Goosebumps story too.
I figured it would start a run.
Just have to do it. Attack of the Jack-o'-lantern.
Ooh.
Okay.
I had that one.
Very
That's a good
Halloween-y.
one.
I looked at
Yes.
that one.
Halloweeny.
All right, might as well continue this Goosebumps run right here, 'cause if
Do
not,
it.
I'm gonna be regretting it later. Welcome to Dead House.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh.
That's the very first one.
Thankfully,
a
my
good
my
one.
Goosebumps stories have not got picked yet.
Yeah,
Mine either,
really.
so I'm feeling
Mine
pretty confident
too.
about my
I'm
Goosebumps.
And I can kind
interested.
of wait and
Pretty
sit back.
crazy.
All right. Well, it's back to you anyways. So
Oh boy! All right,
Mr.
so let's
Flo.
get an IP. I think because I'm just no. Yeah, I'll grab an IP.
you haven't picked one yet, so
I
you
have
might
not
want to
picked
consider
one.
it.
So I want to do the remake of Candyman.
Yeah.
Right? Jordan
I
Peele
like that.
Candyman.
Candyman
Yes.
remake.
I want to get. I mean, we talked about that recently, where I think Candyman's just a setup for a great house, great villain.
When did that come out?
settings.
21.
All the bees and everything too.
20.
Walk in,
22.
you could walk into the
The
mouth
mirrors.
opening.
Right,
Yeah.
And
the
in the
sounds,
mural.
like the imagery, very
Yeah.
like. I'm a big color guy too. Like, just a super yellow house would be weird and like unsettling.
It would be cool.
Very
Like the lighting,
unsettling.
like that's not a big
Dingy.
thing. It's
Mhm.
like red and then blues, but like bright yellows and browns and stuff like that. That color scheme would be really just
Be fun, different.
fun.
Like, I'm thinking a lot of like the puppet art
Yeah,
on the wall.
exactly.
Projected puppet art would be cool.
It'd be very like when like Killer Clown Scare Zone was there with like the play of shadows on the wall and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that'd be really fun.
I actually thought when that movie came out, since it was a Universal picture, I really thought that would be a great house, and it was actually going to be a house. I was actually
Yeah.
kind of surprised they never actually
I did too.
pulled
Yeah.
the trigger on it.
Yeah. but maybe someday. We can always hope. It's in the library still.
Yes, for sure.
All right, so
That would be
Rob.
me. So I'm gonna skip out on Goosebumps because I don't need to do that right now. I don't think. I'm gonna jump back into the Disney properties for my number 2, and then you guys could tell me if you think that because if it's too broad of a spectrum. But I'm going with Disney villains.
Okay.
I didn't know if I should just go down to one, because I could do that as well and just say Maleficent herself.
I would say that plays, but any we could still select a movie with
as long as we can still select something with.
I think just Disney villains.
Yeah, that's probably alright.
I think it
they
works.
do brand a lot of stuff as villains, and I know that they even one time concepted that they were going to do like a villains version of Disney.
That's still actually a thing. They still talk about that part.
And so that's why I went with that. But yeah, if we broke it up, I would pick Maleficent.
No, I think that's a good one.
They
already do mashup houses. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
That works for me.
That's a good one.
I agree with it because if you see the Disney fireworks, anytime they have the villains, they're all together.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
I
Jamie.
was actually thinking about that. I just didn't know.
Right. All right, I'm gonna stick along the Disney property train here. I'm gonna pick Edward Scissorhands.
Okay.
What do you guys think? That's a favorable one, doable one?
Yeah, that plays.
It is a Disney movie.
Yeah.
that could be real.
Yeah?
It's under the property, mate. Yeah.
Fair enough. I'll take it then.
Yeah, it's back to you then.
And then I'm keeping track of my list on here too. Sorry.
There's a lot of Disney properties taken too. Still, so
That's
I
why
might be able to sit pretty on mine for a little
I had
bit.
to catch up real quick.
I'm good. All my options are still on the table.
You know, I'm gonna do my Icon house. I don't think anyone's done the
No
Icon
Icon
house
yet.
yet. No, I'm gonna.
Forgot about those.
Yeah,
If they're gonna run now, I'm screwed.
I was wondering. There was one question I had to ask. I should have asked you before. Some of the icons have already had their own houses.
Doesn't matter.
per se.
Doesn't matter. You just pick an icon.
Oh, okay. So the icon I picked was the director.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Nick's over here like, I see.
No.
I see you.
I have two. I have two
Big
icon
fan.
houses, and I think both are a little bit obscure. But now one might have a question mark on it. We will get to that when I decide to pick it, if it's allowed.
I love everybody's been
Okay.
avoiding the scare zones. So
I know.
far.
I was thinking about it, but I was like,
I think I'm
not
gonna
yet.
pull the trigger on one.
Yeah.
soon,
Because
because
one.
But I'm also like, part of me with the scares is I'm trying to imagine how would they make it work.
yeah.
Because like
Yeah,
it wouldn't be
me
a good
too.
pick if it doesn't make a lot of sense as a scare
Yeah.
zone.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But you're up.
That,
Rob.
yeah, that went really well into my thought process too. Well, just because she did do the Icon house, I'm going to jump in and do the Caretaker.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Little run going on. James
Yeah.
is groaning in the
I
background.
can already see it happening. It's fine. We stuck with Jack or something stupid. Go ahead,
Hey.
get up, Nick.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't you disrespect Jack.
Let's see. Let's take. This is a flyer here. All right. You know what? I could take that at literally any point. Let's take my last IP. I've done this one before. I'm going to do a different one.
Okay.
I'm going to take Split as my
Ooh.
IP. Well, each room should be one of his different personalities.
I've never seen Split.
Patricia's room.
Never seen it.
I was going to take something else, and I
movie.
feel like it's a very popular one, but I've taken it in drafts before. I'm just sick of taking this one, so I'm gonna switch it up a little bit and
Okay.
take Split. I think the imagery would be fun, the settings would be fun, the characters would just have a blast, and it wouldn't get. It's the same character, but different attire, so it wouldn't get too monotonous.
Right.
Yeah, I like that actually.
All right.
Very.
I'm good with that. So now my IPs are good. I don't gotta worry about those. So pick away. Take whatever
We're
you
back to
want.
Pete.
All right. I think I'm gonna go with my IP as well, and I'm gonna go with The Nun.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay.
Dude, that could be really dark, really
Yeah.
trippy, popping up
Absolutely.
everywhere at you. So.
Religious horror is very scary. Especially, I feel like,
Religion
like you
is
were
very
saying, the
scary.
very dark, right? The very dark settings,
As
though.
Rob can attest.
I can attest to that.
The dark religion side.
Yes.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and draft my streaming show. I'm gonna do American Horror Story Freak Show.
Okay.
I like it.
Oh yeah, carnival style.
Seamus.
Because so the 2 American Horror Stories they basically did like, so you're breaking up a part of a season, because that's similar to like the first Stranger Things, right? They did multiple seasons in one.
That's what I was saying for Sinister 2, because they had it as part of the Blumhouse of Horror's house, so that's why I was like, that's its own though.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now that goes
it's back to me.
James
My wraparound. Alrighty then.
The icon started going.
So we can get rid of these because I already picked one of those.
Feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was worried about Disney, but now I think I'm gonna wait a minute because I think we're good there for the time being until somebody takes the one I want, and then I'll be pissed. But I'm gonna go with my second original sequel because I know for a fact this one's gonna get taken at some point if I don't take it now. So I'm gonna go with Graveyard Games.
Oh, okay.
Seamus is Graveyard Games' biggest fan, and I love it. Because it's a great house. It is. It's a good house.
I am a massive fan of Graveyard Games. I love that house.
I love that pick.
That house is amazing.
No, it is good.
You know, kids will be stupid enough to do that again. To go right back to see what they mess with, and hey, let's go do that again, and bam.
It would make a good sequel too.
Yeah, I'm trying to they're doing TikTok, and now you're screwed.
Alrighty, and then, I'm gonna go my second IP, and I'm gonna go with Fear Street.
Okay.
All right. I thought someone was going to take that for streaming.
That was going to be my
It's not a streaming show. It's 3 movies.
Yeah,
it's a trilogy
I would have let it play. I would have let it play for.
That was my
curiosity.
Yeah, okay.
I had it on my streaming list.
I mean, if we're going to argue about it, I'll take it as my streaming show. But
well, you can pick it as whichever. I mean, if you have another streaming in mind, this also
it's a good fail-safe, so you can do it for both. It's kind of a hybrid.
Because not all IPs are streaming.
Speaking of, isn't that what's
that's what it's
ironically streaming right now?
I figured it would have piqued somebody's interest at some point. Now, do you want to? Do you want to do all? Not that people could take others at this point, but did you want to specify which one, or do you want to do a compilation?
Just gonna do a compilation of all 3 of them.
I think that works better story-wise.
I think it's better. We've talked about it before. So, all right, Alex, back to you.
All right, let's go with original sequel. I'm gonna pick Hades: The Gates of Ruin.
A little throwback.
A little old Greek mythology. Yeah,
you like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, big fan of it.
I may have something Greek mythology related somewhere.
Oh God.
Possibly.
All right, Pete.
All right, I'm going to go with an HHN Originals sequel, and I'm going to go with HR Blood and Guts.
Oh, Pete! Oh, no!
Son of a bitch!
How are you going to do me like that? So, would it be a sequel to Holidays of Horror, or Holidays of Horror, or would it be a different theming for HR Blood and Guts?
I would go with a different theming.
I think I would have too. Damn it. That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
I was worried about picking that one.
I was about to on the next round, actually. Speaking of, I wanted to do like a game show style HR Blood and Guts show. I think it would be cool. But that was a good pick, Pete. Good pick.
All right, Nick.
Boy.
Nick.
All right, let's start this run because I don't know if anybody was going to take this one or not, but I'm going to take a scare zone.
I knew it.
Do it.
Yeah,
It's
switch it up on us.
70s.
Ooh.
And it's going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Classic.
Okay.
Love it.
Set up, it'd be fine in the streets. You have you got the whole family of characters. You can have Leatherfaces. I mean, you don't have to have multiples, right? We looked at that with Major Suites last year. In Suites, it was only one Major Suites at a time. So having one Leatherfaces out there is fine. You could set up the gas station.
Running down the road.
Definitely.
Gas stations.
I want to take that.
There's enough characters too that you can find other scare actors.
And then freaking out in the back of the truck at the end of the scare zone.
You have like the cook, and you have the what do you call it? The guy that they pick up on
Bill
the
Mosley.
Yes.
Yeah, I would do Texas Chainsaw Massacre as my 70s scare zone.
I do too. It's a good one.
Good idea.
And congrats, I think you're the first scare zone.
He is the first scare zone pick
like
so far.
I like to get people looking one way so I can jump back into Disney or something.
That was one of mine for the 70s.
Was it? Yeah.
I thought that'd be literally perfect because they've had the houses, but they've never had the scare zone.
All right, are we back to me?
It's back to Rob.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to jump into the IPs, and something I found interesting so far is that with the IPs, nobody has said a music IP, which they have gotten more popular as of late.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Rob Zombie
I
did
didn't
one.
think
Of
of
course,
that.
we got The Weeknd, the year of the COVIDs, which was the scariest of them all. They were going to do Billie Eilish. So I'm going to do an Ice Nine Kills.
Yeah,
Nice.
That would have been Seamus's right up his alley.
Dude, Spencer's
I
my
like
guy.
the music
Yeah.
route.
Kills,
That's
man.
good.
I think previously we've done a music category, so I switched it up a little bit, but that's that.
You could just take the
Definitely.
entire story they're telling with that second album and
For
you do
sure.
an entire house just on that one thing.
No, that's a
Speaking
great
of Bill
pick.
Moseley, he's in those music videos. He's part of that whole thing.
Yeah, I actually did think I saw him post something about that. And I was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, he's in it. Yep.
All
All
right,
right, it's back to you then, Jamie.
yeah,
Your wraparounds.
I'm gonna take a scare zone.
I start
I'm
seeing
gonna
what I
take a
did.
scare zone. The more I look at it, the more I'm
Trendsetting
like,
Nick.
this one was the hardest ones to think about. So I was like, I might as well get them out of the way now, since I only had like 1 or 2 options for each of them. So, I'm gonna do my 80s scare zone. I did. Like I said, I'm not as creative as Nick and everyone when it comes to thinking of like original ideas for like house their scare zones. So I did this one based off a film from the 80s, and I want to have the year right. From 1983, Sleepaway Camp.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that'd be a
love
pretty
it.
cool.
Love
I
it.
think it
Love
could
that one.
translate really
deep-
well
deep cut.
into a scare zone too, since it'd be outside. You could have the tents, the
campers.
campers, all that. Exactly. You guys can picture it.
Yes, I see
I
it
can
now.
picture, I can
Unfortunately,
picture, I can picture
a lot.
something. I can picture something from that movie.
maybe not some
Yeah, I
scenes,
picture
but
something.
Something that just won't fly.
Yeah.
Right.
don't know how likely that would be. But
0. 0%
it's definitely not gonna happen.
is the percentage of that.
But we're back to you then
okay.
again.
This is tough. I'll probably do my sequel. I don't think I've had any of my sequels yet, the original sequels. I don't think so.
You have not.
Okay. So I'm gonna pick Slaughter Cinema to get a
that
sequel.
was on
I'm
mine.
surprised it hasn't been
Yes, that
taken
was
yet.
on
I
mine.
knew I had to take it at some
I
point.
was gonna take that
That's
one
a
over
fan
here.
favorite.
That is a
Definitely.
fan favorite.
So much for not pandering to the audience.
I was just gonna say that one was a little bit. Can you
Yeah, I do too.
Gotcha.
in there?
But-
Short intermission while Nick
Oh
grabs
no,
the beer ski.
we're not intermission.
No intermissions, plus it's
back
to
to
me.
Rob. Back to Rob.
And since it's back to me, and I could draw it out as needed, I've been just going through my list, and I'm feeling pretty confident actually, because I think the stuff that I picked is just obscure enough. It's popular with everybody, but just obscure enough. So, but I haven't picked a streaming show yet. So I'm gonna open up my streaming show with brand new Cherry Flavor.
I like that.
Okay.
I've heard of
that
that,
show.
but I haven't
haven't
seen
watched
it.
it?
No.
Okay, see, so-
I've heard it's really good though.
It is really
One of my
good.
buddies watches it too.
Very witchcrafty, like
And
lots
I like
of,
that's my kind of vibe. I like
lots
that kind of
of
stuff.
bright color details.
What service is that on?
Netflix.
Netflix. It's a
Yep.
Netflix one.
I implore you all
I'll have
to
to go watch
it right
that then.
now.
So,
All right, now you're on the clock.
Yeah. Let's go. You know what? I feel like all these are pretty.
We're getting to a point where you don't really have too many that you have to worry about. I think we're starting to like
Yeah. So
pick
I'm gonna take a Disney property, and I'm going to take Aladdin.
Ah.
I think going through like the
that's
Arabian
good.
streets would
Yeah,
be cool.
that's different.
Having you enter through like into the genie's palace through like the big tiger mouth. You're gonna have a whole genie room. I think that could be like twisted in like a really dark way.
Totally.
Have the little, what's his name? Abu, the monkey.
Yeah.
Abu. Yeah. He'd be like a cool little comedy relief, or just like a little jump scare coming out. I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was on anybody's radar, but those were like those weird older movies that I was like, these are all kind of like terrifying as like,
Yeah, no, definitely.
looking at it from a different perspective now.
Yeah, for sure.
You could do a lot with Jafar.
All right, Pete.
All right, I'm going to go with scare zones now. I'm going to go with 80s, and I'm going to go with Children of the Corn.
Nice. I can see. Yeah.
Damn it!
I know that'll probably not be the most popular with some people because that means they'll plant corn and a hurricane comes.
Oh yeah, that's
The curse of
But
the
those
corn.
creepy little kids running around.
Dang. That would be a perfect scare zone.
That would be really cool.
Delete.
I feel like everyone's ideas have been so cool.
I know. Dang,
It's really cool to see everyone's take on horror too.
I'm gonna take a scare zone. I'm gonna go for the 50s one.
50s?
And I'm gonna do the original House of Wax.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
1953.
Very nice. Had that on my list. Creepy.
You were thinking the same thing that I was thinking, because that's where I was headed next, was 50s. Because there's not a lot. I mean, there are a lot of properties,
There's
but
not
just
much.
things that would work as a scare zone. So I'm going to go with my 50s scare zone as well for my first wraparound. And I'm going to go with the movie Them!
Nice.
Exclamation point.
That was, god damn it,
Gigantic
was on my list.
radioactive space ants that
You
eat
didn't
people.
have it on there.
Perfect.
What's the first thing that's on there?
I'm not cheating.
What's the first one that's on there?
Joking.
I seen it.
And I like to do this quite a bit, is steal Nick's ideas, because him and I think very much the
Don't you
same.
guys share a brain anyway?
Pretty much.
We
That's been
pretty
on the
much,
street. That's
pretty much do.
It's been said before.
All right. Damn. Where do I go next? So, I really have, Icon, streaming show, scare zones, and then my last Disney. Yeah.
Am I still the only? Has everyone taken a Goosebumps?
I have not yet.
I have.
So it's me and you. I think.
All right, I'm gonna go streaming
I
show
haven't
because I
either.
Oh, you
feel
haven't?
like if I don't take a streaming, well, I think it's only really down to me and Pete, so I'm not really super worried about it. But I'm gonna go streaming show anyways, and I'm gonna go Castle Rock
Okay.
Hey, okay.
They
'Cause
filmed that,
I-
like in our hometown.
I love
Castle
Stephen
Rock?
King, and Castle Rock is a great show, and it kind of mixes a lot of his stuff together. So
They filmed a lot of that in Sterling.
Everyone,
Sterling, Orange, a few places in Mass. Yep.
so everyone but me is pick streaming now.
Yes. So Pete, you're the last one with the
Perfect,
streaming one,
then
but
mine.
we
You can
are
take
back
that last.
And mine are
to
still there the entire time. So perfect.
No, I have
back to Alex.
All right. I'm gonna do original sequels. Asylum in Wonderland 3D. I
Bringing
think
back
that
the 3D.
I need it.
a
It's so
popular idea.
interactive.
I love
it's so
it.
trippy.
I've always liked the 3D houses. They're fun.
What
I
was
wish
the name
they
of
did
that
them more.
again?
Me too.
Asylum in Wonderland.
Asylum in Wonderland, like Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Blending our categories.
I was not here for that, so Pete, you're up.
Alright.
Look
I
at
think
Pete's
I'm gonna
list as he calls
go-
picks.
I think I'm gonna go scare zones again. I think I'm gonna go 70s, and I think I'm gonna go Carrie.
Oh my god, that was on
Wow,
my
that
list.
was on mine
That's an
too.
interesting one too.
Because I could see the prom aspect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, man. All right, well.
And then as soon
That
as
was
Nick
60s?
took Texas
60s?
Chainsaw, I was like, that's my other one.
Right, you better do it now.
I need to make sure I get this one in.
All right, Nick, you're up.
All right. So where do I want to go? Let's go back up to the. Let's go to the HHN sequels. Now this is a sequel to a scare zone.
Oh, interesting.
Don't look at me like that. I'm doing a Vanity Ball sequel.
No.
All right.
That's what I want as a house. So I talked about that before. I don't know if I
Alright,
took it
you're
as
lucky.
a draft before, but I want to just finish that category real quick before we get going on everything. So my sequels for HHN are done now at this point. I think, right?
Yes, they
Yeah.
are. Yep.
All right.
All right, Rob, back to you.
All right.
He said.
Well, since everybody is doing scare zones, one of the things that I thought about was a lot of people have picked movies and not necessarily big events. So I'm going to go with the 50s, and it's going to be a unique twist. It's the day that music died. So I could see a plane wreck with Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, walking around zombified.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
But just the term, the day that music died, I think would be.
Yeah,
I like that.
Totally
I like
lends
that.
itself to it.
I love it.
Eerie.
Look at that.
That's why I
Like,
let a lot of
that's
like
very-
my other scare zones that like aren't IPs. I'm like, I'm just gonna hope they're vague enough because like
Yeah.
I might have to take my event because I have an event one, and you really scared me thinking that one was gonna be taken.
I can just hear eerie versions
So-
of La Bamba going around.
So it's me now, I think, right?
No, it's Jamie again.
Oh, we have to go back that way. Okay.
Back to
Yeah.
me. Let me get some. Huh.
Got-
Dang.
Got more picks than now. I'm getting
Yeah, you're
nervous.
starting to
Like, don't wait,
sweat.
take
You're
this one.
sweating.
I gotta get this one quick.
It's getting a little hot.
So this
It's
one was kind of tough. So I'm gonna do a scare zone for the first pick. It's gonna be the 50s decade.
Yep.
So this one, had an IP originally that I was going to do for it, but I kind of want to use the original idea that I had for it. It was going to kind of be like the old school, like 50s, like drive-in, like kind of theme for a scare zone. I figured you could have the screens up in the scare zone. It couldn't really translate more in a house, but thinking of it, it's easier to think of than explaining it. But I think it'd be pretty cool. You could have the different cars. You could have, I know it'd be kind of similar to Vamp when they had the 50s one, just with like the different characters that they could have and stuff like that. But I think it'd be kind of cool.
All right.
I could see it right in front of Mel's die-in.
Yeah.
Right,
that
exactly.
That scare zone right there.
Yeah.
Leading into that
Oh,
dine-in.
that'd
Yeah,
be
that'd
good.
be perfect.
Showing the classic black and white movies and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Totally.
it'd be really cool too if, how I was thinking, if they could have some of the scare actors all dressed up kind of like in black and white to kind of make it look like those characters are like coming from the screen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Very smart.
All right,
You again.
and then I don't think I've done my 70s for the scare zone. I
You
think
have
I only
not.
did the 80s and the 50s. So I did pick this one based off a film, and I did the 79 film Salem's Lot.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm excited about
Yeah.
the new one.
Chasing my
Yeah.
Stephen King. All right, I see. Okay.
He said,
Taking
okay.
all of Stephen King away from me.
Yeah, that's fine. That's how it works. All right, back to you, Rob.
All right. I think I'm going to get my Goosebumps out of the way. And I'm going to do One Day at Horrorland.
That was
I
That was
figured
mine.
that was
That was
one.
mine.
that was
I had a
one of my
50-50
two.
shot. What was yours? Oh, I guess I shouldn't say it yet.
Okay.
At the end, we'll
All
compare
right,
some
back to
notes.
Nick.
Right.
So,
Oh, well, now Rob's going to be scared on two fronts. with
because
the
Jamie
scare
still hasn't
zones
picked
and the
Goosebumps
I
either.
haven't picked my Goosebumps,
Well,
and
I
that
will
was definitely
pick
what I was going
Goosebumps.
for.
I will get Goosebumps on the next go, because I'll get it before her.
There you go.
So let's go
You will.
60s scare zone.
Okay.
Much like Rob, I wanted to do like an event-based thing.
If you say it, I swear. I'll have to show you my notes.
And I will do an Apollo 11 Dark Side of the Moon style scare zone where the Apollo mission went wrong and we landed on the moon and its creatures.
Son of a... Literally.
Is it? Yeah.
I literally
No
have to show
way.
you.
You got
I swear.
you got me scared when he said events. And
I'm
I was
like, what are the odds that
"Oh."
somebody would do like a moon?
Yeah.
Did we become best friends?
I was like, I don't know much for the 60s and the 50s one, so I had event stuff ish.
That's
so I
cool
had to
that you
take
guys
the
thought of that
60s
though.
like
That's a nice take on it.
So
I
that's
like
my
it. Something
60s
different.
scare zone.
I have one more HHN sequel, Shannon.
You do, yes.
All right, I'm gonna go with Scarecrow the Reaping.
Ooh.
One of my favorite houses of all time.
A very
so dark, definitely
spooky
one of the scariest
house.
I think they've ever done.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
I
gonna
definitely Jocelyn
go.
on that one yet.
I'm gonna go for the 60s scare zone too. I'm gonna pick a horrible psychedelic trip, kind of like Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
I like it.
I like it.
Right?
Yes.
So disco vibes. Yeah.
Getting us
I
ready
could
for
see
Vamp
it.
this year.
Oh yeah, I'm
We're
so
in the spirit.
excited.
Alrighty then.
Just when I thought I wouldn't get nervous, I get more nervous.
Right.
Everybody's...
When I thought my IPs and stuff would get picked in Disney versus
Yeah, now...
Apollo 11.
I need another Disney one, so-
What?
That?
Yeah, I knew I was gonna be flying by the seat of my pants with the scare zones. I just
surprised.
knew that was gonna happen.
No one started picking the 90s scare zones yet. I feel like that'd be the one that'd get off the board first.
I did.
I
It's the
picked-
toughest
yeah.
one.
I picked something pretty. I've only done one thing for it, and it's like
I feel like I definitely know what you picked.
semi-obscure. I bet you're wrong. We'll see.
I could be.
We'll see.
I could
We'll
be.
see.
Now everyone's getting me nervous
So
again.
who's
Start talking about
where do
different
we?
things.
It's
So
me.
who's- oh, okay, so
It's
Shane
back
was
to
up.
me. I'm trying to
where
formulate
we're at.
my plot here.
Looking at the master board.
Yeah, this sucks. I think I'm gonna go 80s scare zone. And again, not really based on a property, and maybe again this could be kind of borrowing from previous years, but I think we need to do some sort of like 80s arcade type theme for a
okay.
scare zone, but do more than what was done in 2019.
Oh my gosh,
Like
on mine too?
like do like
An arcade?
yeah, an arcade, but like
Yeah.
kind of expand on that, like have actual like
Make it
arcade machines come to life, maybe, or like have at least do like the laser show in the 80s
not
music,
the
but at
front
the same
zone,
time.
but like an actual.
But yeah, make an actual scare zone out of it.
Yep. I like that. I think, oh god, I wanted to get out of the scare zones, but now I feel like I
No,
can't
yeah.
ditch them. I gotta just like get my picks in now.
They're hard. They're hard to think about. They're hard to come up with.
Yeah.
That would leave. I'm gonna go my second Disney. I know I'm probably safe on it, but I'm gonna do it anyways because everybody but Rob has taken only one. So if I don't do it now, then everybody else is gonna start taking Disney movies. So I'm gonna go Pinocchio.
That was
That's
on my
a fun
short
one.
list.
I feel like Pinocchio could really be twisted in a dark way, and I know that I'm sure they've done like movies and stuff
They have.
that are very much dark, but take kind of that story and have Geppetto be a weird, crazy, psycho old man who turns like real boys into like dolls and shit. But yeah,
No,
that's,
he really did.
that's
Army of Killer Pinocchios.
right. That's what I'm gonna go with my second Disney movie. So we are back to Alex.
I'm gonna pick my second IP, and I'm gonna go for The Crazies.
Okay.
That's a good movie too.
Throwback, was that 04?
Oh yeah.
We just watched that. It's a good one.
Or
Oh,
It was after 2010.
oh, it was way it was after.
Yeah.
It was after 20.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah, it was a remake.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like 2010,
The
2011.
remake.
The
Yeah.
remake.
Gotcha, okay. I was like, wait a second. When did I see that?
Timothy Oliphant is in that
Yeah.
movie. All right, Pete.
All right, I'm gonna go with the scare zone. I'm gonna go with the '90s,
Ooh.
and I'm gonna kind of go with the theme that some other people did, like an event thing. I'm gonna go with Attack of the Toys, because '90s had some of the creepiest toys ever. Furby, Trolls, Polly Pocket, Tickle Me Elmo.
That's
a
great
cool one.
idea.
That's a
Literally,
really
just
good
catching those things coming to
idea.
life and attacking you. Oh my god.
That was what I had.
like these
I had
out of the
Beanie
box.
Babies.
Yes.
Beanie
Yeah, I had
Babies?
Beanie Babies.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
Beanie
Babies.
That's
Literally
funny.
I almost
toys.
said Small Soldiers or whatever the hell that movie
Oh,
was.
Small Soldiers?
Oh,
Yeah.
Nick
Yes.
had me watch that
Yes.
movie.
Oh,
Wiki.
yes.
I'd never seen it.
It's the Gorgonites.
Yeah, the Gorgonites.
You
There
had
you
to
go.
watch it.
Yeah, Archer.
Such a good movie.
Archer, King of the Gorgonites. That's one of my favorite movies.
All right, Nick, you're up.
Chip Hazard reported.
We get chips.
All right, well, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board on '90s. These.
Sorry, Nick.
I will just. I don't think anyone's gonna take that '80s one.
You say that, and then you took
Say that.
the Apollo one from
Both
Rob.
gave it
So
Apollo.
You did.
Kill
All right,
toys.
well, I'm gonna gamble. I'm gonna take my Goosebumps, and I'm gonna do Bad Hair Day.
Nice.
Not the one I thought you'd pick.
not the one I would.
Little magician style. The kid like turns his sister into a rabbit.
I thought you were going to do Say Cheese and Die, but that'd be kind of hard
That's
to
on
translate
my
to a
list.
house.
Yeah,
Say Cheese and
it
Die
really
was on my
did.
list.
I had a
It really
couple on my
did.
list, and I was more like, I just want to do like.
I'm surprised
I feel
no
like
one.
a magic-themed
I don't want
house
to give
would
you
be
a
so
pick
fun.
yet, so I'll wait till you pick yours, and then I'll see if you pick it or not. Because there's
I mean,
another
there-
one that I didn't pick that I
Yeah.
almost did.
I think like one of the most popular ones is still out there, other than Night of the Living, like Night of the Dummy, but like.
Oh, I know which one you're talking
what
about,
if I
too.
since Goosebumps is in the '90s, if I cheated and was like, I'm gonna use that for my '90s scare zone, would you count that? No.
I don't know.
No, it's okay. No, if you think that's kind of fucky, then I won't do it.
I don't think you can. But for my next
All
pick,
right.
the '90s, I'm gonna take Goosebumps.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right, Jamie, you're back. No, sorry, Rob.
Oh, me, back to me.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now I started sweating about the scare zones, so I'm going to jump into 80s. And I'm shocked that nobody had done this, but I'm going to do Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Okay, all right.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like
Damn,
I went the music route too.
that's a really good idea.
I mean, that's
That
just,
is good.
It's too perfect. It's
That'd be
Yeah, it
there's
works
so
really
much
well.
to do
Yeah.
with the werewolf and the zombies,
that.
the music. I mean, everything about it.
Oh, man. Rob, you took my Goosebumps one. That was my top pick.
Which one? Which one did you grab again? The One
Hor-
Day at Horrorland.
One Day at
Horrorland.
Horrorland.
You know what? I'm torn. There's two that I'm really torn between. One is for the people. One is for my personal preference.
Well, you gotta go for
No.
for the people.
I just can't believe no one else took it. So I'm gonna have to go with the Haunted Mask.
Nice.
That's what I was saying.
Yep.
Was the most popular
Yep.
one is pretty much still out there.
Didn't take that because I didn't know how it would work as a house. That's the only reason I didn't take it. And the one that I didn't surprise no one did was Stay Out of the Basement.
Yeah.
That was the one I was gonna go with,
Didn't
but then
even
I
think
was
of that
like,
one.
the Dummy is a good one too, and I figured that would be a big one with people. But
Shocker Street.
I had the
Shocker
Cuckoo Clock
Street,
of Doom
yeah.
on there too.
I'm with you, Seamus. I thought of the mask, but I'm like, how's this going to
Was
translate?
it
to
Rotten-
I
Japanese?
don't know,
Rotten
I
Eggs from
struggle to
Mars?
think, but
Nobody want to do rotten eggs from Mars.
But you're
Calling all creeps.
You're up against
Tower
Jamie.
Terror.
What it lives? Was it?
Which
It lives
was
under
it?
the sink.
That lives on the sink. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So who is up now?
She's still
I
out.
think I have
Jamie
my
on her
second
second.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pick
Just
my...
saying, I was a Goosebumps kid. I had
Oh, me
all of the
too.
books.
Big fan. I'm gonna pick my my other IP that I have on here, and I'm really torn because one of my favorite movies was from the early 2000s, and I really don't think it would translate well into a house. I think it'd be a better scare zone fit. So I'm gonna have to pick my second choice, which is gonna be the Babadook.
Yeah, I had that on my list.
And
It was on my list.
Around a little bit.
the way that I thought of it would kind of be how for the Tooth Fairy house, how when you walked in at first it was kind of like that storybook
Yep.
theme. I think it'd be great to
That
do that
noise.
with the Babadook. Yeah, oh yeah, I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, it's a good movie. All right, we are back to Rob.
All right. Well, I'm going to get my original sequel out. Now, you guys may have to correct me because, again, I've only lived in Florida for 8 years, but I'm going to go with Dead Man's Pure's Winter Wake. Is that a sequel of a sequel? Would this be the third or fourth?
You could still do like
could do
another
it.
iteration of that one. I think sequel is pretty much just a iteration extension.
A continued extension
Yeah,
of
but
it. Okay,
technically,
so
Pier
been
was a house based on a scare
Scare
zone,
zone.
anyways. So
So it was like its
Yeah.
own house.
yeah,
Yeah,
so I don't think.
Yeah, there's been like 3 or 4 scary tales.
Yeah, no, I think we're good.
yeah, that one.
That's
that
fine.
One plays.
Perfect.
To you, Nick.
Alrighty. Let's take my 90s, just because Pete took Beanie Babies.
He just took toys. The toys from
Yeah,
the
he
90s
took
are
all
gone.
toys.
The damn
Um,
Beanie Babies.
So I'm gonna take Pokemon.
Pokemon,
Okay.
that's a fun one.
I like super like fucked up, creepy, like realistic, more like animal morphed,
Yes.
and like instead and like the big Pokeballs could be like Poke cages, and they're just like trapped and like trying to get out and just all pissed off, being like stolen from the wild. I think I'm gonna take that one just
Okay.
because
Nice.
now I'm scared that Beanie Babies got taken, and
Been playing
I
a
have
lot
a lot
of
of good
Pokemon Go.
90s ideas, but not as many 90s ideas for zones. Like, we've talked about them before. Like, I don't need to throw ideas out now, but there's one in particular that would make a great house, but for a zone, it's a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
That's always hard.
Yeah.
So,
So,
To Pete.
Pete.
all right, I'm going to go back to scare zones. I'm going to go with my 60s one, and I'm going to go with Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, son of a bitch.
That was
Yeah,
actually on
damn
my
it.
list.
That was the only one I had on my list, so it looks like I better think of something else.
So would you do that? Like, I feel like they had this previously. Be cool to do the cast, all like the costuming and the makeup done so everything looks black and white.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
You can take my
I
idea
try
like
and do
that?
with like, yeah.
That would be pretty.
They're
cool.
coming for you, Barbara.
If that helps you.
No sharing lists.
All right,
Look
Alex.
at my list.
All right. Icon House. I'm gonna pick the Pumpkin Lord.
Yeah!
Somebody around here was gonna pick this one.
That's
Somebody around
Very-
here.
Somebody around here.
That's what I was
that's a good,
referencing when
that's
I
a
said
good throw. That's a good pick.
that other, because Seamus did Wicked Grove
Right.
sequel. I was like,
I don't know.
bitch.
All right, I'm picking a weird one for the 90s scare zone.
Ooh.
It's weird in the sense that it's not. So, all right, let me just. I'm going with Are You Afraid of the Dark, but the opening sequence. Not specifically any episode, but just that opening sequence.
I applaud it.
That literally gave me nightmares
Definitely.
by itself.
Yeah.
You're gonna,
Not in, huh?
you're gonna have somebody swing you on that swing.
Yeah, and just have like the music, like I can't even describe the music, but the music that plays over that,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
the clown and the attic and no, screw that. The boats that are just kind of like floating there. Yeah, no, it's weird, but scare zones are hard.
Scares me
At the end, you
Scares
have
them
the
are
next
hard.
society with the fire just lighted. And
Yeah.
That's so funny. I have 4 that I had listed for my 90s,
Yeah.
which I'll get to at some point. But just very interesting how diverse some of these are.
All right.
One thing that, like, when I was back to Alex's pick with Pumpkin Lord, I've mentioned this on Twitter before, but I don't know if I've mentioned it on an episode. I might have, but the way I envision Pumpkin Lord, hopefully coming back at some point, is I see him as an equivalent to Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy, where he has like evolutions.
Yeah.
So it's like he goes from like Pumpkin Lord to like Pumpkin, and he like just grows like a pumpkin gourd style crown.
Super jacked.
Awesome.
Like he's like a buff boy Pumpkin Lord. Like he gets beefy.
I'm the pumpkin.
Yeah. Like he just like evolves like the way we've gone from Teen Groot, Baby Groot, Alpha Groot, King Groot. Like I view him as a character that morphs.
So you can have him on stilts next time.
Maybe for third iteration. Well, this would be his third.
That's his third because
maybe his fourth iteration.
Okay.
But I could see it like with a cool like pumpkin cutout crown on the top of his head.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, all right. So it's back to me for my second. Just before we get too ahead of ourselves.
So the pick that I thought a lot about is not mine. So that's cool.
Sorry about.
It's fine. It's cool.
No, it's fine.
Sorry about it.
Since I don't have anything for 60s or 70s yet, I'm gonna go with my icon, and I'm gonna go with Fear.
Okay.
For my icon house, because I don't know what else to pick for the scare zones, and I have to think about those. So it's gonna give myself some time to think about it.
I had Fear too. That was a good one.
So how many people?
Favorite icon.
How many people have your least favorite?
Yes.
Wow. See, I think he's been.
I know they technically did him, but
he's been done the most dirtiest. Because I think he could have a really cool Puppet Master style storyline, and I don't think it's been like given its time to shine.
I think it's basically I think Jamie, Alex, think you may be the only ones who originally saw him in when he first appeared in Halloween Horror Nights 20. His whole backstory there was he was the one pulling all the strings.
Yeah.
So I see with what you're saying, Nick, and just it didn't do it for me. It's just like they threw him in that scare zone, which basically was real cool because the first time you could see the icons in a scare zone, I believe. But it just basically became glorified photo ops and just really didn't get to do him justice.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Maybe if they really introduced him at 30, I think he probably would have ended up being better because you're walking into his lantern and things like that. So
I liked his section in the Icons house. I thought it was really cool.
I think it's a story that, like you said, like it wasn't done it wasn't done properly previously. Mm-hmm. But if they did take the time, like look at how much stuff they've kind of talked about Oddfellow this year and like reconned it. Mm-hmm. That would be a good like way to bring back that character.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right,
so back to Alex.
Alright, Alexita. What am I gonna go for? I'm gonna take my last Disney property, and I'm gonna go for WandaVision.
Oh,
that's a good one.
I didn't even think of it.
Very witchy.
Didn't even think of it. That's a good one.
Elizabeth Olsen.
I'm pissed.
I like that. She can give you your image.
Mm-hmm.
She can just keep putting you in absolute horror. I really like that one. Great pick.
God.
Thank you.
I've been rewatching that series.
We have been rewatching it.
Mm-hmm. We are not sponsored by Marvel, but WandaVision is coming out on Steelbook in November. So if you're looking for something to buy me for Christmas, WandaVision on Steelbook.
There you go, Jamie.
Or if Marvel would like
Please don't get it from. I have to have some ideas for Christmas.
Yeah. Comes out in November. Comes out
ideas.
Thanksgiving weekend, and then Loki is a Steelbook in September.
They look really cool.
Season 2.
Hold on, he's in for his birthday too. Don't buy that either.
Right, exactly.
Loki season. Yeah, Loki. You can get that one for me. All right. Is it
Pete?
It's up to Pete now.
We're getting down to the nitty
I think I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
My icon. I think I'm gonna go. My icon house is gonna be no surprise to anyone here.
I knew it.
Sure.
I knew it. That's Pete's boy.
I had 2 icons and the other one's still on the board. And I don't know if it'll get taken, so we'll see.
I think who still has an icon left? I think we're
Nick. He's
you're
the
Is it
one.
just me?
Yeah,
it's
you're
just
in the
you.
clear.
So you're the
Last
player.
pick, baby.
It's like
Let's go.
it's like me in the streaming show.
Yep, I'll keep that one till the end then. All right, so to me now.
It's
Yes.
you.
God, I should think about these before they come to me a little bit more. All right, let's just go 80s. And this is going to be a glam metal makeover zone.
Ooh.
Where it's almost like Vanity Ball, like Frankenhooker, where like they're like cutting pieces and putting other pieces together of all these like just glam rock bands, just like Motley Crue style, and
Twisted
get you the music,
Sister
get the music involved, throw the stage up there, and have like these like, because I didn't want to just do like zombie, so it's like
original.
Frankenstein styled like glam metal.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that
Very
one.
That's really
original.
cool.
I feel like I've said that. The people are going to be listening to the episode and being like, wow, Jamie likes everything that everyone comes up with. Everything I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Man, I like that.
Very easily amused.
I am.
I could never. Boy, I gotta narrow down my Disney stuff later on. So
I know.
to Rob,
that's to me now. Okay, I'm looking at my list to see what's left. I have an original sequel.
I do too, I think.
And then it looks like my scare zones. That might be it for me. So let me go ahead and get the original sequel out of the way. And I'm going to do a sequel to Pitch Black.
Yes.
There's just something about, like, of course, any houses where there's very limited vision that I think is very haunting. And so that would be no different.
We've talked about that house on an episode,
Yeah.
and I said the same thing, that I feel like the darkness in the houses is what gives it, like the Black Phone last year. I'm not sure if you got to do that one,
Of
but the
course.
darkness
Oh,
in it
yeah.
was just
Multiple
so
times. Over and
fantastic.
over
I
again.
thought you did. I was like, I'm pretty sure, but that really gets me every time. It just makes the whole ambiance just so much better.
I mean, like, that is like a haunted house, like, at its basic. And
Yeah.
it still works.
And it's such a
And it still
exactly.
works. It's a
Well,
concept.
like the way that they would do like a strobe to do a reveal. So like you're going through dark. One
Yeah.
Strobes
strobe,
get
boom,
me.
you see
Flash.
something quick, and then it's gone.
Uh-huh.
And your vision has now been impaired because the brightness
Yes.
takes you like into total darkness again.
Mhm.
It's
I like that one.
I do too.
Those
I do.
dark ones are always fun, especially if you go for like stay in screen, then you go to those first. I did that last year for a Black Phone, and I'm like walking into walls and stuff because
Right?
it's still so bright outside.
The depth perception is off. All right, is
Jamie
it
with
time up
two.
next?
Jamie with two.
It's Jamie. Yep.
We're working with a couple different mics here, so sorry if mine's if I'm screaming into the mic. Nick will be able to adjust it a little bit, but I'm gonna go with my second Disney property. So I'm gonna pick Don't Look Under the Bed. Have you guys seen that
Yeah.
Disney original?
Yeah.
No. What? Have
No.
you seen Don't Look Under the Bed? Oh, thank God. Everyone's like, yeah, no, that's not a thing.
I've seen it. No, it's a Disney
Oh.
Channel original.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do Disney Channel originals count?
Yeah, of course they do.
Okay.
If we were gonna count Marvel,
I was
Disney
like-
originals
Yeah.
I
count.
was like, it's a Disney
well, if I would have
original.
known that, I would have gone with Lizzie McGuire.
Right. Tsunami
Right.
presents.
Yeah, so
It was a rollerblading one, Blades or whatever.
Brink.
Yeah, Brink.
That weird little goblin though, and Don't Look Under the Bed. He's
Yeah.
so he's weird.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I would like to
okay.
agree, but I have not.
I have no
cannot
idea what
confirm
she's
it.
I guarantee you, if you see it, you would know what it is.
If you
Possibly.
guys have not seen it, it's on Disney Plus for any of
Great, I know what I'm
those who
watching
you would like
tonight.
to watch it, and it's pretty good. I think you'd like it, Nick.
Fire it up.
put it on for him.
Right? Alright, so I'm just going to do my other sequel and leave the scare zones for last. So my second original sequel is going to be a sequel to the original house, The School, which was back in 2006, I want to say. I always hyped this house up, gave very Children of the Corn vibes. It was really cool that they had the Terror Queen involved with it, so I'd really like to see a sequel of this one.
Actually, fun fact about that house. 2006 was my very first HHN. That was the very first HHN house I ever went through.
That was
Loved it.
from me as I get older. My memory is absolutely shot, and I'm not even that old, but that was one of my first memories of going through a house at Horror Nights too. It was creepy. It was good.
Right here too.
And that was when I think they had it at both parks, if I'm not mistaken. Or they did it sometime after. Either way, it was a good house that I think deserves a sequel. It did get a sequel, Scare Zone, and it got
And it
a...
wasn't scary.
Yes, it was, which was pretty cool. It got a little
Pink
nod
Floyd
in there.
action.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. So
Alright,
now
back to Rob. Yep.
All right, so I think, just looking over my list, I think that I'm just in scare zones. I think a
60s,
lot of us
70s,
are,
and
yeah.
90s. Yep.
All right, so technically this started in 1959, but carried on through the 60s. So feel free to veto it if you want. But the Twilight Zone.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know
that's a
that.
good one. No, we'll
Definitely
take
take
that.
it. Yep.
Even if it started, I don't think
started,
it gained like.
1959 was
primarily
probably in
60s.
December of 1959.
right.
If my
I don't
mind
think
serves
anybody
me
was
correct.
like. Yeah, I don't think anybody was like clamoring in 1950s for.
But yeah,
Twilight
we
Zone.
went through the whole, most of the 60s, so the Twilight
Alright.
Zone.
That's good.
There's so many different things you can do
Just
with
the
that.
sound.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
As you're walking through, the theme song is playing. Yeah, absolutely. It's perfect.
You know the one.
You're now entering.
You are
All
exactly.
right. So, I'm the only one that hasn't picked an icon house.
Correct.
What about 50s?
You and Pete.
Yeah.
Disney properties?
Yeah, you and Pete.
Jesus.
And then I just stream the show.
Nice.
Alright, I'm going to pick the 50s, and I do not like this pick at all. Jamie took, like, drive-ins, and I had, like... One of my picks was just, like, straight up 50s sci-fi.
I figured you would.
And one of them was Them, which you had taken. And Jamie did the drive-in, so I'm going to abandon ship on that. And I'm going to take the one that I wrote down first, and I just hate it, but I'm going to take it. And it's Fellowship of the Rings.
Oh,
Do,
God.
like, orcs and, like... I
Jimmy
hate
would
it.
appreciate it.
I hate it. You know how I feel about doing dragons. I don't like fantasy, but, like, nothing was going... Like, were people not doing anything in the 50s? Like,
Oh, they were. They
it
were
was either
making,
that
like,
or, like, I could do a Cold War
They
scare
were
zone.
in
Or, like,
war.
They
Sputnik,
just fought a war and they're making
It's like-
babies.
Yeah.
That was kind of like their deal.
There's not much going on.
Moving
So-
out in the burbs.
I feel there was so much like the mom and pop, you know, just like housewife type stuff that
Yeah.
you know, that's what I think of when I think of the 50s.
Yeah.
Just
And I'm like, I can't work with much. So I'll go... That's when I think when... Was it J.R.R. Tolkien put out Fellowship? Was in the 50s, so...
Don't remember.
I don't know. I don't know how to read.
I wasn't around then.
No
so.
idea.
Yeah, no.
But yeah,
Way before my time.
there's your fantasy zone for... I'm going to pander to the crowd that is stoked on Dueling Dragons, and maybe they'll vote for me, but probably not because I bash it. Not as bad as Seamus.
Not as
Me
bad
and
as
him were-
Seamus, right.
me and him
No,
were
no,
last
not
pick.
as bad as me. I'm the one that's gonna get all the hate this
So
year.
there's Fellowship on the Rings. Perfect. Great. The little elves can play whatever. Sam and Frodo can finally
Battleship.
have their little adventure.
They're called hobbits.
Yeah. Called hobbits, asshole. So, who was...
All right, Pete.
All right, I guess I'm going to do one of my Disney properties now. Has anyone said the Haunted Mansion?
Nope.
Nope.
no.
Mm.
The Haunted Mansion.
And I'm
No
shook
one
at
has
Wow.
that. Nobody
Yeah,
said
I'm
Yeah.
surprised
Okay.
nobody's brought that
Again,
one
that
up.
one wasn't even on my list because
Mine either.
It was, and then all of a sudden it came to me. I was like, wait, no one said that. And I was like,
Genius.
I like that
I
one.
didn't put
Alright.
it on there because I thought it would be one of
Yeah.
the first to
Me
go.
too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yes.
Honestly.
and it
Okay.
was my last to go.
I'm gonna pick my 80s scare zone, and I'm gonna go the music route again. I don't know how it would be a scare zone, but I could see it. Metallica, Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm seeing a Master of Puppets. Like
you see something.
like it's definitely going to be a part of the Stranger Things house this year. I
Oh,
feel.
yeah.
Yes,
Like,
So-
yes, there's no... Yeah. There it has to be.
I hope so. Just Metallica, you know, they're a little finicky with their.
they're going to have a generic
so-
sound alike.
But if Universal's willing to pay for Stranger Things, I'm sure they'll pay a little more.
Well, I
That's
remember
true.
That's probably why they took Megan off of this. They were like, we can't
Yeah.
afford it. We had to pay Metallica. We had to pay Stranger Things.
Yeah.
We just got to cut Megan out of this.
There was, I remember when all the rumors of the Scare Zone Seek and Destroy was coming out, everyone was like, Metallica?
Yep.
Like,
I remember that too.
what? And, like, I mean, we fell for it too. I mean, you can do it. Like, it's not that far-fetched.
It's possible. Didn't Rob Zombie had a?
So, Rob
Sure
Zombie
did.
Scare Zone, like,
He
That
sure
My,
did.
probably
Scare
my
Zone
all-time
was
favorite Scare Zone
awesome.
is
Yeah.
Rob Zombie's
Hellbilly.
Scare Zone.
You know what,
Deluxe.
Rob? I'm glad you appreciate it because it was one of my
and that
favorites
car is
as
for
well.
sale.
I loved
at the,
it.
like, Lakeland Antique.
Oh, really?
The
It
model
is.
of it. Yeah, the one that was
I'm gonna
from
go
the
buy it
zone.
right now,
I was
It's
gonna
for
say
sale.
I can't get it, so someone's got to get it, Rob.
I'm going to start a GoFundMe for the Rob Zombie Dragula
The whatever,
replica.
yeah.
Yep, it was, yeah.
Because they do the Dragula, the casting cruiser, whatever you want to call
Just
it.
it for a wedding gift.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So now where are we?
It's
I lose
it's
track.
me with my
Shameless.
not my last two picks, but my
Close to.
third and two, like almost the last picks. I'm just trying to figure out how this would work as a scare zone. So this sucks. I hate these eras because, like, no offense to anybody that's from these eras, but like
a
it's
toughie.
just really hard being someone that wasn't around for it to like come up with some really good things. But all right, I'm gonna go with my 70s anyways because I have that one, and we're gonna go with The Hills Have Eyes,
Okay.
which came out in 1977. Really underrated movie, and I think one of Wes Craven's best movies. So that would really work well as a scare zone.
Don't you say it.
Don't do it. Don't
Don't do what?
Now you gotta do it.
Jamie.
No, I definitely can't do it. No. No.
All right, so
The hills have
and then now
eyes.
it's me again.
What a crazy movie. Literally. Oh,
It is
literally
pretty crazy,
gave
yeah.
me nightmares growing up. Yuck.
See, I don't know if this is from the 60s, though. Shit.
you can ballpark it, I guess.
No,
I'm still
because there's someone. This is gonna be that one person that listens to us. It's gonna give us a call and be like, "Seamus, you're an asshole. It came out in this year and it didn't count for
I
the
know,
60s."
that's why I've been
It's
making
gonna
you
be
guys say
me.
the
I'm
years.
gonna call in.
1963.
I'm gonna badmouth everybody's things except mine. Hey, this is Tony from Wisconsin. I think Seamus' list sucks.
Right.
This is great.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what'll happen.
I don't know.
That's exactly what'll
And everyone
happen.
downloading Google numbers and just
This is
passing
Sam
each other.
from Wisconsin.
Yeah, this is
again.
Sam.
Came out in '79, you idiot.
Fucking idiot. You stupid. I'm still like so torn on my Disney because I don't know if I want to go like. I know I'm not picking right now. I'm gonna filibuster for Seamus while he finds a pick, but I don't know if I want to go like my Goofy house or like, and that's not like me saying not doing Goofy, but like my like, which is nobody's gonna get. I don't think.
There's one thing that I'm surprised no one said for the Disney house yet.
Are we all
And
done with
are you the
Disney
only
except
one?
for you?
I think Nick's the only one.
I think
Yeah,
I'm the
I
only
think.
one. Yeah.
Seamus, you're
Yeah.
big once you pick.
I'm surprised you.
Nick is the only one with a Disney one that
And
hasn't
I have.
picked yet.
I mean,
yeah.
I have. This is the one that I have the
One
most
surprised
options
someone
for.
hasn't picked.
Oh, I know.
Like that I put out, and nobody even picked any of the ones that are on my list. And I'm excited.
Really?
Once we finish the draft, we'll go through.
That's what I
Some
like.
like
And, like,
honorable
s-
mentions.
yeah. See, like, and
I
that's
have
the
a lot of
worst because
those
then
as
you
well.
start tossing those out, and you're like,
Should have picked
Yeah,
Like,
some of
that.
them- yeah, that
Had
was
that
way cooler than any of Nick's
Yeah.
picks.
All right, I don't want to take up too much time thinking about this. I'll come back to this one for my last pick. So I'm gonna go with my cryptid, and I'm gonna go with Wendigo.
okay.
Yep.
Oh, that.
That's a really good one.
What a late round pick.
I know.
I honestly forgot.
That's
you
why I
didn't
wasn't-
have
I mean,
the
when-
cryptids.
I mean, when Pete went Deathworm, I was like, all right, well, I'm good then. I can wait.
Just-
Jimmy
pick
would
one.
appreciate that pick.
Wendigo
I knew I'd
house
go
would be
then. That was
super good.
That was
It
my
was
other
so
one.
Woods and
Seamus.
stuff
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
why I was like, all right, well, if I can't get Jersey Devil, Wendigo works. I think it's unique. It's really cool. It's a really cool story, so I think that works well.
Definitely.
All right, so we're back to Alex. This is our second to last round, and then
All right.
one more round to go.
70s Scare Zone. The Manson murders.
Oh my gosh.
Damn it! I didn't think of that.
That was
That's
on
such a
mine,
good
and I was
one.
like, you know, it would never pass, and I
Yeah.
tried to stay in the realm of what would pass, and I was
I
like,
thought of that too. I was
Alex
like, no.
with the
Staple.
wild
I was
card.
like,
Okay.
no, that's a little too. I was like,
I like it.
but I would
It's
love
a
it. I think
fantasy.
it'd
I
be
love
great.
it more
I said
than one of us
Sleepaway
thought
Camp.
of it too. And we're
So-
like, no. Alex, props for having the balls to pull that trigger on
Yeah.
that
I was
one.
gonna
Yeah.
say you
Good
could just
one.
call it
Manson
like the
murders.
Hanson murders, but then like that would have been your '90s pick.
Yeah.
Oh,
I get it.
That was
See what I did
awful.
there? See what I did there?
They're a band.
Yeah.
There you go.
3 boys.
4.
Went
So
on a
now it
killing
is
spree.
Pete, I think.
It is Pete,
So,
yeah.
I believe I'm the only one of both my picks left. Am I correct, Seamus?
You have
I have the
streaming.
50s and streaming,
Yep.
but both I'm the only one left in either. Correct.
You are the only one left in both of them, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go with my. I guess I'll do my 50 scare zone, and I'm gonna do a zombie sock hop.
A what?
A zombie sock hop, like the weird dancing.
Sock
Oh,
hop.
sock
zombie
hop.
sock
Oh,
hop.
okay, all right.
Sock
I was like,
hop.
suck
I
up?
thought you
Who are you
said
sucking up
succumb.
to?
Yeah,
What?
sock hop.
No, that's a good
Okay,
one.
all right.
I don't think I spelled it right, but okay.
Yeah, we'll work on spelling later.
Yeah.
Hop hop.
And down at the soda jerk, or the soda fountain.
So now we are.
You.
Now it's me.
You.
You. Disney and Icon.
You.
All right. Well, I'll take my icon. I'll let Disney sit for a little bit. I still want to wait to see if I want to do funny or not. Lady Luck, the house always wins. I want a casino themed house.
Yeah,
I
she was on
love-
my list.
I love my casinos.
You didn't go 21, did you?
No,
Halloween Hornets,
no.
Seamus.
I'm a.
Wasn't me, no. I
Do
didn't
not
go.
know much about me outside of my HHN and horror fandoms. Big casino guy. Love the casino.
Big fan.
Bright lights. Ding, 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 ding. They do not like me as much as I like them. But it's a good time, and it's a fun house aesthetic. Like
Yeah.
that was always a really fun room. That we went through for icons.
Yep.
And I think there's just, obviously it's been done before, but each game, I mean, you could have like a little blackjack room, poker room, craps,
roulette.
like slots, roulette.
Yes.
I've thought of a million ways to die on
And
a,
they kind
a
of
casino
teased
game.
some of those. Like, I think there was a roulette table last year.
It was, the
spinning,
dummy was on it. and-
For the knife throwing roulette.
Yeah.
Yep. hmm
Mhm. So I that was my second icon I had that I figured the big names would go, but like I'd love to see, and I don't think we'll ever get another like Lady Luck house. Unfortunately, I think we're in the era of new icons.
New
I think
things.
we're seeing a lot of new stuff now. So I don't know if we will, other than 35 or 40. Like we'll see an anniversary house, but I would love to see an actual Lady Luck casino house.
I love that idea.
So now we go to Rob.
That would be me. So, correct me if I'm wrong. I have the 70s,
70s
and
and
90s.
90s. Yep.
You know, my 90s list is ridiculously long, and literally 30 seconds ago, I added a new one to it. And I think I'm going to... There's so many good ones. I'm excited to kind of present my 90s list a little later on, but for 90s, I'm going to change it up. 30 seconds ago, 1995, PlayStation, Twisted Metal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a scare zone. You can have all the cars. It's perfect.
Very
And of
nice.
course, with the resurgence of the television show,
I had that as my streaming.
People have been
I was
talking about
debating
it,
for my
yeah.
streaming show.
But the video game has all the iconic vehicles and everything.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
It'd be perfect.
Well, they came out with, was it Twisted Metal Black for the release of PlayStation 2?
Oh yeah.
Remember that was like
It's a
the
whole
big,
bunch of
like the, what do they call it when it's like it comes out simultaneously with the release of the system?
Or it comes with the system too.
Yeah, it's like a launch title.
Launch title, like that was a big launch title for PlayStation 2. That's a good one right there.
Yeah,
I
that's a
like
good
that.
one,
yeah.
All right, Jamie. Last two picks.
Last two
Ready?
picks, buddies.
Last two picks.
All right. So I just have two scare zones left. I have 60s and the 90s. So for my 60s, since Pete took Night of the Living Dead from me, I decided to do which I watched recently for the first time. I've heard lots of good things about it. I did the 1962 Carnival of Souls. Don't know if
Okay.
you guys have seen that one.
No.
A little
Carnival
more
of the
obscure.
Souls.
It's a deep cut.
Yep. And for my 90s, I had a couple ones on the 90s too. I think this one could kind of work as a house in a scare zone, so I was kind of on the fence about it, but I still think it could work as a scare zone. But I did I Know What You Did Last Summer for the 90s scare zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god, we hit a boot! Oh no, that was a scary movie.
So is
Where's
it,
the guy?
does it go back to me?
So
It is
back to
back
you.
to
Yes.
Rob for your
Back to
last
me, my
pick.
final one, which was the 70s.
Yes, it is.
So I do have a toss-up. I have my easy answer, which I know nobody will get, so I could, basically drop that. I thought about doing some kind of Kiss scare zone because I love Kiss. However, I don't think I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the golden age of game shows. So the 70s were big for all the game shows. That was when they really hit their surge. And I could just easily see, all the hosts walking around, everybody getting caught up in these different, game quizzes and things they can't get out of, stuff like that. So
I like that one.
I love the game show theme. Love that idea.
Alright, Disney properties. Let's see. Do I go funny?
Humor me.
Go funny. You know what? I'll save it for honorable mentions. I am going to take... Yep, I'll just go with it. I'm going to take Toy Story. I think it would be fun. Like, you're set up well for different rooms. You could have, like, the whole Sid room. You could have just these, like,
The toy
twisted,
store.
demented toys, especially Sid's toys.
Yeah.
Where they're, like, the hybrids and stuff like that. The little baby head on, like, the claw
The
legs
claw
and
thing,
stuff
yeah, I
like
could
that.
see
Those
that.
are so creepy.
Always
The
scared
little
me.
aliens, like...
You could almost just do it
that
based
claw.
on Sid's room.
Yeah, like, I've done a lot of, like, weird research on
good?
Toy Story.
You're right over there.
Because I remember in
Okay.
high school, this is a little mini tangent, just a mini tangent.
It's okay.
In high school, I took world terrorism as a class.
What?
It was
a weird
It was an
class to take
elective
in high
class,
school.
so it was.
We didn't have that in Florida.
No, but we had it as just an AP style elective.
Wow.
And for one of our projects, we had to pick a random like pop culture or like movie or something, and define by the standards of like the laws of what they define terrorism as, and pick out a character and explain how they're a terrorist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So I picked me and my 3 buddies picked Sid as like the terrorist, and like he had the logo with the skull, and we did, and it was so stupid, but we filmed a whole.
It was really
instead
good.
of doing a paper, we did like a 5-minute video.
I'm pretty sure it's still on YouTube.
It's probably on
by
YouTube
the
somewhere,
way.
but we did a 5-minute like presentation. They're like, all right, so like you have to go do your presentation, and I just turned it on the computer, and then we played it, and
That's amazing.
it was pretty cool.
It was
I probably
really
would have
good.
stayed in school if I had a class like that.
Right?
Yeah, it was interesting, and we did weird stuff. Like we recorded it in English, and then we dubbed over bad
Yeah,
Spanish,
yeah.
and then put English subtitles on it, just to be like,
Yeah,
dicks.
I remember that.
Hilarious.
All right, so after my mini tangent, where are we at?
Pete is down to his last pick. Streaming show.
The Strain.
The Strain.
Nice.
Okay.
Facts. Like, I think that'd be a real cool house.
It's a good show.
All right.
Alex,
Be real basic
90s.
for my last one. 90s, right at the edge. 1999. The Mummy.
Ooh.
All right.
An extension
All right.
of the ride.
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Put it right out there.
Right in front of it too.
Right
yeah,
in front of
There
it.
you go.
You
That's
said
a-
right at the end of it, I thought you were going to do something we had talked about previously on another one where it's like a Y2K style house.
Oh.
Where it's like the fear of.
Yeah, that would have been a cool one
It was
too.
like 99, that's where it was.
That's
I mean,
where it happened.
but.
All right,
I
so
was gonna do
I
a
didn't even
Monica
think about
Lewinsky
that.
house right around then, but it sucked.
So Mr. Irrelevant pick over here. Last pick of the draft. 60s scare zone. I'm gonna have to like explain this in a little bit, but I'm calling it British Invasion. And what I want
Is
is
it
I want
1760s?
no. Wait, let me explain. 1960s British Invasion, the Beatles,
Beatles,
the
okay,
Stones,
yeah.
all of these British rock bands that came over to America and caused the shitstorm. So I'm thinking like make it an actual British invasion, like an actual invasion, and have it be like a bunch of like lizard people dressed up like 60s bands.
Nice.
Okay.
And like you get the music playing and stuff like that, and you
Or
can
Beatles
kind of like
dressed as Beatles.
yeah, Beatles, the Stones,
Redcoats are
the
coming.
Doors.
The Redcoats
Well,
are
the Doors
coming.
aren't British, but you
One
know
of
what
my
I'm
land, two of my
saying.
sea.
No,
Take
that's
that whole
awesome.
theme and do it that way. So
It's
I don't
original.
know.
I like it.
Maybe kind of weird, but I could see it.
I
By the
know,
way
I
they
think
could
it's
do it.
Yeah.
When I was researching stuff, Beatles did come up for that time frame. I was because
Well, I was desperately trying to figure out how to make a Doors song work, like the Riders of the Storm, but that came out in '71, so I'm like, that
Yeah.
really doesn't count. So
They probably wrote it in the 60s.
they probably did, but and I'm sure it's about doing drugs, so I don't know how you would make that
sure.
work, but
Either way. All right, so
that's it. That's the
the
draft.
Wow.
That's
do you
the
want
draft.
to? I know
Better-
it's a little. Do you want to run through
I
all
can
the
do it really
picks
quick.
really quick,
Yeah.
and kind of, and then after that we will get into quickly just honorable mentions, and
Yeah.
if there was some other stuff people.
Yeah, I'll do this really fast. So we'll start just go in order of the draft. Jamie, she picked Edward Scissorhands and Don't Look Under the Bed for her Disney properties, Slaughter Cinema and The School for original sequels, Sinister and the Babadook for her IPs, The Haunted Mask as her Goosebumps, Mothman was her cryptid, Haunting of Bly Manor was her streaming show, and The Icon was the director. Then her scare zones was 50s Drive-In, Carnival of the Souls, Salem's Lot, Sleepaway Camp, and then I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Okay.
Moving on to Rob. Rob, his 2 Disney properties were Tower of Terror and Disney Villains. Dead Man's Wake / Pier and Pitch Black as his original sequels. Terrifier and Ice Nine Kills as his IPs. One Day at Horrorland was his Goosebumps. Loch Ness Monster was his cryptid. Brand New Cherry Flavor was his streaming show. And The Caretaker was his Icon. And then his scare zones was The Day That Music Died, Twilight Zone, Golden Age of Game Shows, Thriller, and Twisted Metal. Nick did Aladdin and Toy Story for his Disney properties, Puppet Theater and Vanity Ball for his original sequels, Candyman 2021 and Split as his IPs. Bad Hair Day as his Goosebumps. Jersey Devil as his Cryptid. Motherfucker. Wednesday as his streaming shows. Lady Luck as his icon. And then his scare zones were Fellowship of the Rings, Apollo 11, Dark Side of the Moon, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Glam Metal, and Pokemon. Pete.
He is the most vicious list. Right? Pokemon
So
and
obscure.
Aladdin. Toy Story.
So Pete, Roger Rabbit and The Haunted Mansion as his Disney properties. HR Blood and Guts, Scarecrow the Reaping as his original sequels. Gallows and The Nun as his IPs. Welcome to Dead House as his Goosebumps property. Deathworm for his Cryptid. The Strain as his streaming show. And his icon was the Usher. And then his scare zones was, forgive me, Zombie Sock Cop, Night of the Living Dead, Carrie, Children of the Corn, and Attack of the Toys, which is a great idea. Alex, Pirates of the Caribbean and WandaVision were her Disney properties. Hades, Gates of Ruin, and Asylum in Wonderland were her original sequels. The Crazies and As Above and So Below were her IPs. Attack of the Jack-O-Lanterns was her Goosebumps. The Sirens were her Cryptid. And then American Horror Story Freak Show was her streaming show, and Pumpkin Lord as her icon. And then her scare zones was House of Wax from the 50s, Horrible Psychedelic Trip, Manson Murders, Metallica Master of Puppets, and The Mummy. And then finally, me, Mr. Seamus. His Disney properties were Nightmare Before Christmas and Pinocchio. Wicked Growth and Graveyard Games were my original sequels. It 2017 and Fear Street were my IPs. Night of the Living Dummy was my Goosebumps. Wendigo was my Cryptid. Castle Rock was my streaming show. And Fear was my icon. And then my scare zones was Them, British Invasion, The Hills Have Eyes, arcade theme of some kind, and the Are You Afraid of the Dark opening sequence.
Just the opening sequence.
Just the opening sequence.
Can't reiterate this enough.
No, not the show. The opening sequence. Because that was scary as shit.
So we will post these. I will write these up, and we'll let y'all vote on who have the
keep an eye on the Instagram
best one or fun
We got
one
some
or
strong
whatever
lists.
you want. These are
these are pretty strong.
Yeah,
So
these are
what
pretty strong.
If anybody wants to just throw out stuff now at this point, what are some stuff you didn't have? Because like I said, my Disney list. I'll go through the stuff I had for Disney. I had 101 Dalmatians on there.
Really?
Cruella, like that's
Yeah, I guess Cruella's kind of a
cool,
psycho.
Like, and like dogs barking is like scary. Like
I would just cry the
Yeah.
whole time in the
A
house.
bunch of lovely Dalmatians.
I mean,
I mentioned it when you said Greek. I had tossed around Hercules.
Okay.
You know what I thought about?
Hercules,
Percy
Hercules.
Jackson.
Percy Jackson.
that's a good
would've been
one. I see. For Disney was tough for me. I don't know why, but I was like all mine were like old stuff. Like I forget what it's called, but something like witch, something. Some witch mountain thing
Escape
or whatever.
from Witch Mountain
Maybe
or
that's what it
whatever.
was. I don't know. But there was a bunch of like 70s Disney movies that my dad would be watching as a kid because he's a maniac. But like the computer wore tennis shoes.
Yes,
But instead of
yeah.
it being like a dude that's just really smart, have like actual people dressed as like supercomputers with tennis shoes on, like murdering people. I don't know.
Sounds really scary,
I don't know.
actually.
It's weird. That's why I didn't pick it.
Yeah.
But then of course
Like,
Pinocchio was
Pooh,
the shot.
Pooh. I mean, obviously,
Which
Winnie
is-
the
You
Pooh.
know what?
Like,
Picked Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, that one's not Disney though.
I know, but still. But would you?
But I felt like that was. I mean, I felt like I would have
was
been
too easy. It
cheating
was a little
a
hazy.
little bit with
Yeah.
that
I
one.
mean, it's public domain, so it could pop up
Yeah.
anywhere
Right.
at any time
Right.
now. So
Right,
So
because
my-
you get to think, keep that in mind. Like it's like
Yeah,
Winnie the Pooh isn't Disney
Yeah.
necessarily. Like they bought the rights to it, but it was never their story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
My funny
Neither was
Disney
Pinocchio
one
or
I
any of the
wanted
other
to
ones,
do
but-
would have been a Flubber House.
Flubber.
Super like
It makes me think of the Blob.
sci-fi blob,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
very.
because the Blob was one of my
I
scare
was like,
zones.
how much could I get out of this one? Probably not much.
Honey, I
but-
Shrunk the Kids.
I wanted
Yeah.
to do.
Hard, but
But
that'd
yeah,
be fun.
yeah, that would be good too. Except for how do you get little,
Exactly.
like, yeah.
I wanted
I
to.
thought of. I just couldn't figure out how they would do it. But for Disney was Inside Out. Those things inside your head.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
pull your emotions. So it's like I couldn't figure out how they would actually do it. I'm like, if they could, I think that'd be creepy as heck. So.
No one picked Halloween Town, the OG original Disney Channel movie.
No.
I didn't pick it.
Or Hocus Pocus.
Or Hocus Pocus. Nope, I had that on
Yeah,
there
it's
too.
true.
Phantom
one I
of the
thought
Megaplex.
was,
Venom.
Venom.
Well,
Yeah,
MCU
Venom
style
would
would've
have
fun.
been a decent one.
And with that,
I
you gotta
hope-
go
so-
Blade too.
Yeah.
I thought for a hot second The Simpsons just to see everybody's reaction, so they
yeah.
actually pick it because they technically own it now.
I wasn't sure how that would be felt.
But then another one that I wasn't sure how I'd make it work for 60s was The Birds. I love that movie.
I
Love that
was
movie, but I
thinking
don't know
about
how
it.
you make that a scare
It
zone.
would be very hard.
That and Psycho. I was like,
Yeah,
these
Psycho
aren't
was a good
scare
one.
was on my
zones.
list.
And you know,
Yeah,
you
not
bring
a
that
scare
up.
zones.
Psycho
So
would be a house.
nobody picked Scream
Yeah.
for the
No
90s.
one- not
no
one
one
person
picked Scream. I
Scream.
almost did, but then I'm like,
Yeah,
how do I
how would
make
that
that work as a
Yeah.
scare
It's not a
zone?
good scare zone.
It would
It's
be a
my-
better house.
Yeah, it's my number one movie,
Yes.
like, of all time, but, you know, it would be hard to make it a scare zone. You
Yeah.
always have to do, like, the front of Stu's house.
I knew
and-
that's why you
Yeah.
didn't pick it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
'cause-
stuff doesn't it does just because it's a good property doesn't mean it will translate well
Exactly.
to a certain thing.
There's actually one in the 80s I thought Jamie was going to pick as soon as I say it.
The Lost Boys?
She knew about it.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it'd be
Work.
fun because there's multiple of them, so it could work.
Yeah. I
The
thought it would
other,
translate better to a house,
The
too.
other ones in the 80s I didn't say. I thought of also Fright Night and The Fog.
I had
Those
The
are
Fog
both
on my
really
list.
good movies, yeah.
Definitely had The Fog on my list.
I
That'd
think
be a
especially
perfect
work.
setup.
What about IPs? Does anybody have other IP? Because I didn't.
Oh, a ton
I
of
had
them.
Sinister
I
on
had
there. Conjuring, I didn't take.
Conjuring.
I had
yeah.
Annabelle.
I had Smile on there.
Hubie Halloween
One
was
that I
on my
had,
list.
that I thought might be too obscure for people, but
Halloween.
I
is
love
Haunt.
Haunt,
Haunt.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
I did have I did a few other ones.
My other streaming show I had, which I don't know if people started watching, I just recently started watching, and I absolutely love this show, From.
Ooh, Alex had
It
that
was
her
on
list.
my
haven't
list.
watched
He-
that yet.
Yeah.
Such a good show.
I mean, nobody took Stranger Things.
Right.
No one took Stranger Things?
It's
You know.
Yeah, but
okay.
that would have been
We
Stranger
are
Things.
trying. It's
Been there,
happening.
done that.
It's out there.
You know, I was kind of bummed that my brand new cherry flavor didn't get as much love as I thought. So
I
I,
need to
should have
watch
went with
it.
my original, which is Midnight Mass. Was my
That was
that was
on my
another one I was
list.
going to
Yeah.
go with. That one
Midnight
or
Mass was
another one that
good.
I don't think it's kind of obscure is Nosferatu,
Okay.
Yeah.
but
Okay, yeah.
the Joe Hill book turned show, which
Yeah.
is a good one.
What, is that 60s or 70s?
No, that would have been a streaming show.
Streaming. It's a new. They.
Oh, because that was
it's a new-
also.
Is that Shudder, right?
Yeah.
Well, because there's the original Nosferatu, but then there's the
Which is
Nosferatu,
1922,
which is
yeah.
it's a Joe Hill book, who for those that don't know is Stephen King's kid. I know I'm a nerd, but it's about this dude named Charlie Manx who's kind of like a vampire. That's why it's called Nosferatu, but it's a license plate, so it's NOS, the number 4A2, the number 2.
That's funny.
For HHN Sequels, nobody said Dead Waters, did they?
No.
Nobody said Dead Waters. No.
That was a great house. Was on my list.
That those ones are tough because like there's so many good ones that people could
Yeah.
pick that like we all picked really solid, strong sequel like original ideas. Like the fact that I got Wicked Growth and Graveyard Games to me is pretty wild because everyone else is really really good ones.
For IPs, I had It Follows.
I knew you. I'm surprised you didn't take that.
I know. You guys thought I was going to.
I
had to throw
did.
you
I
off.
didn't pick it because I was like,
I
that
had to
was
throw you
Jamie.
off a little bit. Same kind of thing,
But
though.
let's
I
be
feel
honest
like
though. Well, go ahead.
It'd be good in a scare zone because obviously you could have different like people like following you and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Well,
It'd
that's
be
my
kinda
thing,
Good, but I feel
exactly.
like some of the different scenes that they have in the movie itself, I just really enjoy.
It doesn't lend
so
itself
much,
to a horror attraction.
and it's kind of hard to do in a scare zone.
Because the horror of that
And-
movie is
It's a
so
bad
much
movie.
so much different than like your
Take that back
traditional.
immediately.
It's not a bad
It's a
movie.
bad
But long story
Smile's
short,
better, but-
I would have liked to have that, but I would like to see it more as a house. But just the soundtrack, the score alone for It Follows is just so, which is why you
Synthy.
should. It's so.
I'm not gonna like a movie just 'cause I
synthesized
like the
and
soundtrack.
It's so good.
So, I mean,
and it's
to be
just-
honest with you, it's part of the reason why I'm surprised no one's yelled at me yet. But I didn't pick Hereditary.
Or Midsummer.
I didn't
true.
pick Midsummer.
I thought about
I
it.
didn't
Yep.
pick
Yeah, I had
The
this on
Witch.
my short
Yep.
list.
Lighthouse.
I had
The
the Witch on
Lighthouse.
there.
The thing is, they don't really work as a house.
No.
That's why I
Right.
didn't pick them.
Like you walk into one room and it's just
Like
William
Midsummer,
Dafoe
you'd
farting.
have to have a very like
all the
bright,
lighthouses.
outdoorsy
Right.
Yes.
feel.
Right.
And you just
Exactly.
can't hide that in a haunted
hard to
house.
do
You
that,
have to have
yeah.
it look outdoorsy and
It's hard to do bright and sunny horror at all.
Right.
Like this type of thing. Like it works great in movies. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre worked really well, but at the same time, it's very dark. And
Right.
that movie's not dark.
Speaking of Smile, that was actually one of the ones on my IPs list. That would be real cool. Just definitely see a bunch of different people smiling, killing themselves, scaring you. Like it could be a lot of fun. Like as you get chased through that house.
This one I couldn't have because it didn't fall into either categories, but I wanted to put Donnie Darko somewhere on the board, but it came out in 2001, so I couldn't do it for the 90s, couldn't do it for the 2000s IPs, the 2010s, so.
You know you would have fought me over that
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Um,
This was a
one.
fun draft.
Could have done
Yeah.
technically S Darko, but it was not nearly as good.
I haven't seen
Not
that.
at all.
I haven't seen
No,
it. That's
it's
why I
not
haven't
good.
watched
It's
it.
not
you
worth
didn't-
it.
You didn't miss much.
anybody in any of the 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s that they want to throw out?
all I had, like when I earlier I said I had 50s sci-fi. I have in parentheses them, Attack of the Crab Monsters, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like,
no, I struggle with the scare
but
zones.
when he
They
took
were really
one,
hard.
I was like, they're all for me. I kind of lump them together as that, like Mystery Science Theater 3000 style like movies.
Like the only scare zone that I had for sure was them, and I'm just lucky I got it because I would have been screwed.
I went obscure with like a lot of my things. So like in the '60s, I had I went with the Twilight Zone, but I was thinking like protests were huge in the '60s. So I thought about like people protesting other parts of Halloween Horror Nights and things like that. Very 1960s hippies and all that, but picketing and stuff like that. But I think my strongest list, which is the funniest, is it was my 90s. Your because I thought about doing like a Nevermind Nirvana scare zone, so like the music video of like people grunging out, rocking out. TV sitcoms gone wrong.
That's cool.
Couches and things like that, doorbells, front of houses, things like that. And then because Orlando was actually huge for it, like boy bands and pop queens, something along those lines. But then Twisted Metal hit me.
We did. So I think the one I think I referenced it earlier. I would love to do like some sort of blockbuster style house, but like you can't do a blockbuster scare zone. Like
the last blockbuster.
Yeah, I think we did that early. We did a scare zone before. We called it the Zomboys. And it was all like boy band zombies.
Like boy band zombies.
I was like, that's a perfect, like, if they're gonna do Vamp, whatever, in 6 years or whatever, do Vamp 99 or Vamp 95 and do
they should
all like,
sure.
like you said, NSYNC, O-Town, Backstreet Boys, like
I had Vamp
98
92
degrees
on my thing, on my 90s one.
Liar.
I almost cheated. I almost cheated and did Vamp 85, but then 1885, not 1985.
You love that switcheroo.
I was like, that's too much. They're all gonna yell at me. I don't want to get yelled at tonight.
I had They Live for the 80s
it's another
movie.
good one.
It's a great movie, and I think it'd be a really cool scare zone if they would give everyone glasses and they would have some people in the
Starship Troopers
really
didn't come out either.
Fun.
Didn't come up either, and that was a 90s movie, wasn't
Troopers
it?
in the 90s,
That would have been a decent one for 90s.
I really like They Live. That would be really good, especially if you could wear certain kind of glasses in the whole.
That'd be fun. It'd make a cool house too, honestly.
Right.
Definitely.
All right. Well, did anybody have any last final thoughts?
70s. The only other one I had was Trilogy of Terror.
Okay.
I
would have played.
I think it would have played well, been a little fun. But
All right. Well, that about wraps it up for this year's fantasy draft. Thank you all so much for joining us. We are in the middle of our 1 week 2 HHN Podathon. We recorded a bunch of episodes the other day. At one point, I fucked the numbers up completely. I forget which. Like I said, there's 4 days when there was really 3 days or
We're
something.
almost there. We'll just put it at that.
You guys get it.
This should be out on Sunday. There's going to be 5 more days until Halloween Horror Nights. So please tune back in tomorrow. We will be coming at you with some of our hot takes. We had some spicy ones in there. A little bit of a shorter episode. Just I know the week's starting for you. You probably got work. HHN is on the horizon. So just a quick little episode to kind of jump on in, touch base with you, and piss a lot of you off.
Yeah, just listen, because we do a lot of work to put these out. And
I'm
tired, please.
This is a lot. We have a couple more. Well, until next time, this is Nick.
This is Seamus.
This is Jamie.
This is everybody else, too. Everyone's in the room. Happy draft day, Hans. Horror Nights week. Whatever. We'll see you later.
This is cursed. It's got a death curse.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
And again, I would just like to thank Vampire Stepdad for letting us use his music for our intro and outro music. So if you would, just go check him out. Spotify, Facebook. Again, that is Vampire Stepdad.